Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You're now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
Hello.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. No new patrons, correct, Kamar?
Hello, ladies. It's Kamar here, telling you to join the Post Joe.
At first I thought that ladies was directed at us, and I was like, I don't like how this started.
Hello, ladies.
We are we only need 2,999 Patreons based on the heels of last week's big sign up. So just sign up whenever you feel like it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Post Joe on the
we
show.
fucking told everybody
Yeah,
to sign
3,000.
up last week.
yeah.
Told them to tell all their friends, and we got 0 new
It
patrons.
takes a while. Hey,
Well, you got to
Traction
think about it.
takes a
Then
while.
next week it's going to be open the floodgates.
I don't know if
crash
you
the
know
server.
about me. I'm the immediate gratification.
I
type
do
of
know
guy.
that about you.
So
yeah.
we are well aware.
we need
Follow
patrons
us
right
on
now.
YouTube. Like,
quit my
and
job
share,
tomorrow.
Subscribe,
Today,
leave a
Matt.
comment.
Yesterday.
Join the Patreon. Thank you to all the Patreons past, present.
Yes, I'm
future.
sorry. We're just joking around. Don't join the Patreon. This is a new thing.
There you
don't,
go, yeah.
Don't join them. We don't want you there.
We don't want to quit our jobs, ever. We expect to be working well into our 90s.
Don't join the Patreon.
Yeah, do not.
Under any circumstances, do not join the Patreon. It's not worth your time. Don't do it.
Kamar, you want to go over the guest list so we can rate the week and start this bad boy up?
Certainly don't tell any of your friends about this podcast, because that would be fucking ridiculous.
We start off the week. For some reason, I think all these shows are pretty much, no, I don't know if we're caught up because he was off, but we start off with 2195, Andrew Huberman. Followed by 2196, return of this guy's really lucky, Greg Fitzsimmons. And finally, we finish off with 2197, Mike Baker.
Sometimes he lets us in on his like inner monologue of
Yeah. He slipped like a Freudian slip. This guy's lucky to be here.
These guys, they did not meet.
I want to
when
fuck
they-
this guy's mom.
If they did not meet when they first started comedy,
Yeah.
and came up together, they would never paths cross. If Greg Fitzsimmons did not know who Joe, he would hate him, and probably vice versa.
That's a weird thing to say, though. Like, if we had never crossed paths, you would probably not like me. Like,
You're
that-
coming closer to me. No,
Joe doesn't only hang out with like unfunny steroid heads.
I think you don't listen to Greg Fitzsimmons enough.
Well, I don't. You're correct.
I don't. I know you don't. I know you do. But
I don't listen to him.
I don't think you're hearing him. No,
Okay,
he's
fine.
quite
We-
left.
we-
He's very pro-vaccine.
I see.
He's
I
probably
see.
pro-mask.
I see what's
I get
going
where
on
I
here.
get where you're going. Okay.
Okay.
So on his show, he's
So when Simon hears him, he's just talking common sense.
Listen, I don't judge.
well. No, you built a bubble.
You do.
I don't judge. I did that for you guys,
Yeah.
so we could keep doing this thing.
I don't
You
judge
should-
either. I'm
you
not
should
judging.
Be thanking me.
I-
I wasn't afraid of the virus.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say you were.
I'm afraid of nothing.
I know. You're the manliest man I know.
Have
I'm not.
nothing in common.
I'm not afraid
That's
of
all
the
I'm saying.
night. I'm not afraid of the moon.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of fucking spiders
No.
or snakes.
No.
They're
Or
friends
sharks.
because of comedy, not because they're supposed to be.
I assume at 3 a.m. you're in the garage with nunchucks and Crocs on, just fucking practicing, just making sure you're ready.
Why Crocs?
I don't know. I assume you have a sweet pair of house Crocs.
I do, but I don't work out in them.
Okay.
I work out in my, they're like Taekwondo shoes. They have the toes.
Yeah.
My boots.
You have a onesie with those?
Yeah. It's actually one of those Carhartt work outfits, but I wear it with those boots. It's
You're
quite
lying.
the look. Shut the fuck up.
I think we
you
should,
started last week on a terrible foot, and you don't want to start this week on the same terrible foot.
No, I was thinking that well into the episode that happened. But anyways, I think we should get right down to the current affairs as they're breaking with.
Well, we should rate the week first.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm just chomping a bit to get to the bottom. of what's
Champing.
You were champing at the
going on out there. I give this week a 2.
I'll give it a 2.5.
It can't possibly get a 2.5.
I guess you're right. Mike Baker really just fucking. We've had enough of this.
I
guy.
think it has to get a 1.5, and that's being generous.
No, I'll give it the 2 that Kamar gave it. You're
Okay,
right. 2.5
fine. Then
is crazy.
I'll go with the 2, and you can hit some button.
We have an agreement. Don't do it. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can hit some fucking button. Like,
And I called.
I thought maybe you would hit a different button, Matt.
You guys don't even care.
you know how Jewish he is? It's like he hates content creation so much, but the second we were like, we might be able to quit our job. How do we mini putt for money, Matt?
I won, actually. I won some money last week.
Mini putting?
Mini putting,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, no, you only won $5 because you're never going to collect from your friend Jera, but you'll definitely collect from
that
me.
Stinks. We should have done what I said and him send you the money. And you just
I wasn't going to do that for you, you fucking asshole.
Are you guys above bocce, or is that a later,
Love
later in
bocce.
life?
Love bocce.
I like any of those games.
Golf while you still can, sort of thing?
Well, I can't, but
Okay.
go on.
I'll go golfing with you next summer.
Real golfing?
Yeah, if you want.
No, but we'll try to go to the Royal Ottawa.
Why are we
you
going to go to the
do that?
nicest
And how
members
are you-
only?
How do you plan on doing
doesn't
that?
like
Are
me.
you a member of the Royal Ottawa?
We know
Why are you
members.
pointing at me?
No, we know
Well,
members.
because he knows.
No, like I could get us in at the Hunt Club.
And you could, that's like stage time. You could reciprocate someone. I'll take you to the Hunt Club. You take us there. You should only play the best of the best. I don't think you
You
should ever
think
play
you can just show up at the Hunt Club?
No, but my uncle would. If I told my uncle I'm interested in golfing at the Hunt Club one round,
Yeah.
and I told him I'd like to bring a friend and that we're willing to pay, my uncle would fucking for sure. He'd
Would you tell him it's your boyfriend, or would you just say it's like a special friend?
fucking Shecky Green over here. All right, let's start this off, Kumar.
Oh,
this guy's already on a fucking.
plebs.
Let's get down to some facts. 2197, Mike Baker. So, as Mike described, he has
I can't believe we're starting with this fucking dipshit.
a special way of disseminating information without
No, sorry.
showing
sorry.
his cards to
what,
say
what does he do exactly? What does he do with the information?
he disseminates it.
Oh, he disseminates it. Okay.
What did I say? Disseminate?
No, you said dissem.
Well, that helps conversation flow. You question me every time. He disseminates information, and you can't tell
You did it again.
what side he cheers for.
Disseminate?
Yeah, he's very neutral.
But he is not, yeah. Which I think he would develop those skills at the CIA, one of those alphabet agencies.
I love when Joe's, this is skipping way to the end, but when Joe's like, well, what would you do if you found out that if they could prove that it was the CIA who killed Kennedy? And he thinks for a second, he's like, well, I would have to rethink my whole life.
And at this point, still, he has nothing. I just never looked into that. It wasn't in my purview. It really is stunning.
How stunning is it?
It's very stunning, to be fair.
The information CIA guy, just of all the things that are going on, just never really looked at the JFK.
It can't be true.
I take their word for it.
It's impossible that that's the case.
I didn't know that Trump saw it and said that if we all saw it, we'd be fucked up. Now that I know that, I'm very sorry, but it's got to be the Mossad. It has to be. Because if it was the CIA, he's against all those fucking... Like, Trump hates the whole CIA, FBI.
And you think releasing it would change the paradigm for the support for Israel or something?
I mean, I thought it was pretty obvious that it had to be aliens.
That killed Kennedy.
Well, that would be what would shock everybody the most, right? That
I guess, yeah.
The
A Bigfoot, maybe.
The gunshot actually
Came from space, direct energy.
from way above. And that's why it looked like his head exploded, because it did.
But isn't it interesting that we are still discussing whether it be aliens, Mossad, the CIA, so many years later, and the Trump assassination has come and gone? I mean, what? It
Hold on,
happened.
he did get assassinated.
one of them
Stop,
died
stop.
and one of
Yeah.
them didn't. So let's just slow the roll
So
here.
I just got to...
history's completely unraveling a different way.
I just got to say this too. There is a slight difference. They keep doing this comparison, like if Biden got shot right now versus Trump. I don't want to be rude. I realize he is an ex-president, and it's not getting the coverage it should.
Biden got shot instead of Trump.
Biden is a sitting president. JFK was a sitting president. Trump is a presidential candidate. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying like you should go out and shoot presidential
But
candidates.
there's just not that much news there.
No, I agreed with you. It's not getting the coverage it should. What I'm saying, though, is there is a slight difference in saying a presidential candidate had an attempted assassination versus a president got assassinated.
Yes.
Oh, it's a huge difference. It's hard to compare the two of them.
I wouldn't say it's hard to compare the two. Someone tried to kill Trump. That did happen.
Yeah, I
correct?
know, but so like if somebody tried to kill RFK Jr.
It would also get no fucking play.
But no, but that is a comparable.
Well, no,
to
he
me.
was killed. His brother, Robert Kennedy, was killed, and we don't talk about that. That's an open
Yeah,
shut.
no, that's-
he got
Sirhan,
killed. This is the guy who
yeah.
did it, and there is no real. Well, I guess there probably is. It was this guy or that guy, but it's not questioned or scrutinized. So, like I always take the example. I feel like when that shooting happened in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
that would have been like a thing they'd remember for years. Like a
40
solemn
people
day
getting-
everyone
yeah.
takes, whether it's gun laws, or who that guy was. Certain things seem to be swept on the rug and some isn't, and it's obviously the media that decides.
If Trump had been shot and killed, that little kid's name would have gone down in history, just like
He doesn't have a name, that kid, eh? As we can't say it right now. We don't know it.
Yeah, you do.
You know the shooter's name?
Yeah,
what's his name?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
No,
No, give me a sec. I have it here. Someone sent me a meme, or I sent someone a meme this week that had his name in it.
anyways,
His name is Thomas Crooks. Sorry, Thomas
A
Crooks.
name that will not live in infamy.
It's a little on the nose.
Is it? Because he's crook? I don't know. His name isn't Thomas Presidential Shooter.
Crook, criminal,
Okay, yeah.
presidential shooter. I mean, doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to see the
Thomas
correlation.
misses by an inch.
Then they talked about the thing that I find interesting. You know, the lies we tell ourselves. We just wrestling. We watch it, even though it's fake.
I have a big dick.
No
I have a
one
big
can
dick.
say that Joe Biden is fit to be in office at this moment.
No, I
But
can't.
but it's just he is. I mean, he can't run for president. But it's this lie that's it's another gaslight.
Yeah, but how is I thought the opposition could call for
An impeachment.
No, it's not impeachment. It's
The 25th Amendment.
like you're
Yeah. It's I know what you're talking about. It's close to
you're
it's close to impeachment. It's where you're not fit
fit for duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The word is
So why aren't they doing that?
I think again they're doing like with
because
Trump.
they don't want him to. They don't want him out. They want him to run for president. Old bag of bones.
Well, he's definitely not running for president. He said that.
but the
He's
word-
endorsed Kamala.
But the word on the
Kamala.
street was Obama and Nancy Pelosi said, we are going to invoke the 25th Amendment. You are losing all your money. Do you still want to run to be president? So he was effectively forced out. He wanted to do it, but they said, you're going alone. Have you ever played euchre?
I love you.
I love me some
He
euchre.
he
Euchre's the
wanted
best.
to do it. There's no way he wanted.
They
to
said,
do it.
if you're doing it, you're going alone without your partner.
Euchre's a cheater's
And he
game.
said,
though.
well, neither here nor there. He was forced out.
Yeah.
Which is concerning. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Do you think they're still going to bring in?
Well, here's the concerning thing: the Democrats won't run him again, which means they know he's compromised. You understand what I'm saying?
Democrats won't run Biden again.
Yeah, like think about it like this.
They can't.
No, and they can't because he's compromised. That's my point. Is like they're actively saying the guy running the country right now, the guy with his finger on the button,
Is not there.
is compromised. He's not there. That's why we're not running him
And
again.
that should be unacceptable.
Yeah, that's a pretty big red flag.
No one, nothing to do with politics.
So, but anyways, it's the vice president that steps
Yes,
in.
she would become. Yeah,
regardless,
I agree.
so
But they should do
It's
that
pretty,
formally.
but it's pretty much what happens anyways. You know what I mean?
But 6 months ago, if we were having the same discussion, say it's the vice president takes over anyways, there's no way she could do that. She's not qualified to do that. She's a good politician, but she doesn't actually know what she's talking about.
yeah, but Kamar, there's a
Based
problem.
on all the
There's a problem with what you're saying in general. Is day one when
Excuse me.
Jesus Christ, day one when they take office, that should be
Well, she should never be able to be vice president if she's
this is
unable
my point. Is
to
if
do the job.
if day one you're like, we don't think she can be president, then you shouldn't really be the vice president.
Oh,
because
you're
the person.
you're agreeing in another way, supporting what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm just agreeing further down the line.
Or you're saying that Kamala is able to do the job as vice president and thus able to do the job as president.
Despite no one wanting her to do it, which was what happened when she got owned by Tulsi many moons ago.
I mean, Simon, if the last 4 years is any indication, anyone can do the job. You really just
I
need
do agree with
staff.
that statement. That
That's
it
like-
really doesn't matter who the president
Yeah.
is.
Well, I mean,
We could get a Shetland pony to do it at this point and just point at whatever it wants the
yeah,
most.
if Kamala gets in,
Camel toe.
it'll be exactly the status quo. Nothing will change.
course.
Every war that is going on will continue to go on. Every war that is planned will continue to be planned. Like nothing will change.
And she will be ridiculed by the right and defended by the left.
You can already see that they are pumping her up to be like this.
But how
the,
does that
the
happen?
woman president they never got, you know?
But I've said I hope she wins, and that then the oppression Olympics are over.
Oppression Olympics. Where is he getting these fucking
that a black
tag
woman will
names
be
from?
president, so they can't say shit
What
anymore.
can't
What
you
he's
achieve?
saying is, what
Anyone
he's
can
saying
do
at this point is,
anything.
short of a midget trans person becoming president, like there's no more barriers.
Can't tell me that this thing's holding people back.
I don't know if you guys saw it this week. You
Right.
might have for the post show. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on it, but they gave out Streamer of the Year award this week. Did you see this?
No.
No. So the biggest streamers in the world are like Kai Cenat, I
Yes.
Show
Oh, yes,
Speed.
yes, yes, yes.
There's a guy named Queso. There's a couple. There's a
Yeah.
couple like
Who won?
some chick that no one's ever heard of.
Really?
Yeah, and
What's
people
her
are-
name?
Dude, I couldn't fucking.
Industry
it's-
plant. It's an industry plant, isn't it?
I don't know.
cap.
The point is, people are like, this doesn't even make sense. Like her rank on Twitch is 116th. She's the 116th biggest streamer in the world, according to Twitch stats. So people are like, how's this possible? Like she streams 40 hours a month. And then there's guys like Kai Cenat who has the most insane following. It's crazy.
They stole the thunder of rap
Who streamers?
because it started. Rappers are cool and streamers are getting them on there, and then they started making so much money. And now it's country music and streamers.
It's so funny watching rappers go on like streams where the streamers have to check them and be like, I'm worth way more money than you. I've seen it happen multiple times. The streamers are like, I'm worth like 60
Well,
million.
haven't you seen all these rappers going on to play
Aiden Ross or
to
whatever.
rob
Yeah,
him
yeah.
and shit? Like they obviously need his money.
Do they? We don't believe anything now with Mr. Beast.
You know what I really,
You
you know
see
what?
where they make sandwiches the Akiway?
The what?
Yeah,
You
who
see
makes that?
Oh, there's a rapper and it says, "Give me a chopped cheese with
no, I know-
Twinkies and
Oh,
Doritos."
you're just saying
the
any-
Akiway, and they go, "Coming right up," and then they make the sandwich and they cut it. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I know who the Akiway is. Are you saying that? Okay, forget it. I can't with this
forgotten.
guy, man.
We just
Total non sequitur.
the cross marketing of rappers in the world today. Like, I think it's because the Godfather Snoop Dogg has taught all how to. There's nothing we cannot sell, my brothers.
No, I think you're wrong. I think it's that rappers started just any avenue where they could make money, they would. And streaming became so big that like look at T-Pain. He was broke. And now he's like, I make tons of money just streaming, playing video games.
But,
Timberland.
outside of Joe rap, hip hop has lost any edge.
What does that mean?
Being around 50 years, it's mainstream now.
I think rap is more dangerous now than it's ever been.
You think so?
I do.
Okay. The argument that the Democrats have been in power 12 of the last 16 years. Because I remember what happened with people won't give Obama a break is when he started being president, he had to deal with, for the better or for the worse, the financial crisis that some could argue, if we were alive today, was George Bush's fault.
Well, this is okay. I'm
But
glad
there's
you.
just a-
I'm so happy
There's a
you
weird
brought
thing
it
they
up.
do. The second a presidency ends, well, he cannot be pulling the strings anymore. So there's a new thing. So he had to handle that on top of everything. Like it's all.
Well, this is one thing. So when they played that clip, because I had already seen that clip, and I did find it when I saw the clip, I was like, "Fuck, it's true. You can't deny it." But then I did what you did, and I was like, "Well, hold on a second." I was like, 9/11 was a pretty fucking big deal, and a lot of the civil liberties that they lost, and a lot of the rights that people lost, a lot of the NSA, like that matters. All that shit matters. The financial crisis, all that shit fucking
You
matters.
used to have
And
short memories, though. And
Yeah.
now we can't never forget.
Well, no, isn't it interesting? It's like, what was that joke on The Simpsons where it's like, yeah, we've been keeping records for 60 years since the record keeping place mysteriously burnt down. You know what I mean? That's sort of like,
Also, the only thing maybe he described or helped me understand is how election fraud is possible in that you don't need millions of votes. It's not about millions of votes, too. That's not one. It's in a sort of small community where it's actually 40,000 votes is the difference of the whole thing.
They did this weird thing, though, where he was like, they took 1 million people off the voter list in Texas. And I kind of sat back for a second and I was like, let's say an election cycle is 2 years, right? Because they have elections between. You know what I mean? I'm not talking presidential. Like they elect other people sort of in between that, correct? Whether it's like congressmen, judges, whatever. So let's say it's 2 years. I would assume that every 2 years, a state the size of Texas takes 1 million people off the list.
Because they died.
Is like that doesn't? Am I crazy to assume that's not?
That doesn't sound like it's unbelievable that that happens.
I get it when you say it the way he said it. It sounds shady. Like if you want it to sound shady, oh, they took 1 million people off the voter registry that have died,
and they added 200,000.
This
or whatever.
No.
whatever the
That's what I'm
numbers are.
saying. Is
you're just picking one stat?
Yeah, what I'm saying is like you're saying 200,000 17-year-olds became of voting age and they got added, and yeah, 1 million people in Texas, one of the biggest states, died. That to me wasn't the weirdest. I will give you this, Kamar. Is I think when we talk about voter fraud, we only talk about stuffing ballots, and I think that's the mistake we make as a society.
That's the only way it can be done.
Precisely, and I think we know definitively that elections are stolen in many other ways, right? Like
Could just be misinformation, withholding laptop. Someone else makes their
tanking Bernie, doing whatever the fuck. Like,
but I prefer tangible cheating than swaying. If I had known that, I would take that into consideration. That someone made a different decision.
I get it, but the thing is this: like, even Mike Baker was like, we opened up a ton of areas for fraud, and I can't give you any instances of fraud, but trust me, if we open up the floodgates to it, it's there. And I don't think that, dude, you're a CIA guy. That might be the worst fucking shit I've ever heard.
What is Mike Baker?
Wow.
He really feels like he's a person pretending to be a CIA guy.
Absolutely. When he was mentioning how that no one buys shows anymore, he sounds like a guy who's into coming up with ideas for shows and selling them to TV stations.
I'm a
agent.
CIA agent, and my cover is I'm a CIA agent. Like he's just this bumbling fucking Poirot type of character.
That'd be interesting if we ended up finding out this guy was never in the CIA.
Yes. Well, no, Kel Surprise. Something also that interesting happened that they talked about is that RFK and Tulsi are now with Trump. It almost felt like Avengers. It depends what side you are. That could be the worst thing ever.
I'm going to call it right now. I could be wrong. 6 months into his presidency, they're gone.
6 months into
Trump's presidency, he gets rid of them.
If he wins, he
When he
finds out
wins.
they can't work together because they tell him what he cannot do.
No, he first of all, his first presidency, he fired tons of people for 6 months. These two actively were against him. Like RFK, Joe on his show was like, I back RFK. And then Trump tweeted out, Joe Rogan's a terrible, you know what I mean? I have a tough time believing.
What are they in? Like, is one of them going to be the vice president?
No, they've both.
JD Vance for right now is the vice president, but RFK, someone suggested, for better or for worse, could be the head of the FDA or the CIA. Tulsi Gabbard could be Secretary of State.
Yeah.
In his cabinet. Now,
Yeah.
Matt's saying they're not going to get that far because they're going to get fired.
I mean, listen, if Trump really was the clearing the swamp, drain the swamp, I really want to make this better for the people of the United States like he claims to be, and not just like some money-making megalomaniac, then he would put those type of people into those types of positions. And if he did that, he would prove to everybody that he's not the villain he seems to be.
But this is my point, is like, if he does that day one, everyone's going to stand up and cheer. If he fires them 6 months later quietly.
No, I agree. That's terrible. And he may be doing it, like Matt said, just to get the votes, to get him in, because he sees that Kamala is going to be a problem now. But
I just think it's smart of him. If he can say, listen, I lost a lot of moderates to RFK or to Tulsi. I can get them all back in one fell swoop. Just being like, look, they're under my wing now. I'm going to give them a position. I think it's smart. One way, I'm not sitting here railing on Trump saying it's a terrible idea. It's a fucking brilliant political move. Brilliant.
It's like they're celebrities on the Celebrity Apprentice, and he's now sending him out to do one of those.
Go
like,
get me fucking
you gotta
Junior's
open
cheesecake.
up a restaurant on 5th and
Yeah.
I mean, he could
20
also
20th
hire Vivek Ramaswamy. What about this? Trump wins the election and says, "I just want to prove I can win. I retire." Would that be
It's an even
would that
bigger
be
problem.
Cool? That's an even bigger problem.
Even bigger problem.
Then he should have been
well,
running in the
because
first
then
place.
Well, then you've made a
then
clown college out of the
Pence-
whole fucking
No,
thing.
JD Vance is
Vance
He seems like a
becomes
smart
president.
guy.
Yeah, but the
Oh
point
yeah,
is,
his
hold on.
appearance on the Nelk Boys really shifted my point of view.
Exactly.
It's kind of the problem. You vote for the president. You don't vote for the vice president.
No,
So the
you're
pl-
kind of voting for
That
both.
just happened with Joe Biden. They voted for a shell of a
I
person.
know
who
you
wasn't
are,
a
but
thing.
you kind of
No,
aren't.
It doesn't matter.
well, by voting
You
for
have.
that
I get it,
guy,
but you have no choice in the vice president. Is my
agreed. But by voting for whoever, if you vote for me for president, you're voting for the decision I made for the person who's running as my vice president. So by proxy, you
I always
vote
thought
for
the way they
vice
should
president.
do it is just fucking make whoever you're running against, they should be the vice president. Whoever
Yes,
loses
yes,
should be the
I've
vice
said- I've said
president.
Well,
as well.
that position
No, and then listen.
would be so useless
Why?
because you don't have to listen to the vice. Do you watch Veep?
No, but it's like a yin,
It's by like the
yin-
grace of God
Wow.
that the vice president is
I
allowed to do
understand his
anything.
political background is Veep. It's like having a yin yang, if you could imagine that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be a great idea,
And the
but
point
that
is-
the Yang would never get any.
What you're
bill
saying
passed.
is everyone voted for Joe Biden, so whoever Joe Biden picks to be his vice president is good enough for all those people that voted for him.
You got it.
Simon,
because you
bills
voted
getting
for him.
passed only has to do with Congress. It
No,
has
no,
nothing to
no.
do with
I
the
know,
vice
no, no,
president.
no. I know. But listen, again, from what I know from Veep, it's easy to exclude the vice president from anything important. It's really, besides one time where they get to make a decision in Congress, like in case there's a tie or something, or the president gets hurt.
Yeah.
Though, like other
But
than
wait, well, that was gonna
you're
be my-
cutting ribbons and kissing babies.
My other thing was going to be that you would obviously have to put in some stipulation that if the president gets shot, there's just triggers a new election. Because the way it works now is just the other person becomes president, and
We'll
it would
just
just be like,
shoot
we'll just
you,
shoot the person. Yeah, you know what
Well,
I mean?
that could happen with the sitting vice president right now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Either way, I just
Well, I'd say just up until this moment, the vice president really never mattered my whole life.
I agree.
And just for some reason, it's also the vice president.
Simon, I thought of a great
It
sticker
still
idea.
doesn't really matter, but go on.
Simon, I thought of a great sticker idea. Make America great again. Same idea, red, but make stuff fun again.
That's fun.
Just because the world fucking stinks right now. and
It does. It does stink, right?
I guess the vice president does matter because all of a sudden it's allowed to run without any election.
Well, okay, that's what we really should be talking about. How is that allowed?
Hold on, it matters
How
also.
is it that there's no DNC elect? Is that what it's called? DNC?
Yes.
The
yes.
DNC makes up the rules as it goes along.
Okay, well,
therefore, there's no rules that can be broken.
Then it's fucking nuts, right?
There should be some election integrity committee that says no.
Hold on,
you have to
100%.
follow
You
this
have to
in
run
this
a
case.
person who's
on.
been elected.
We don't have time. Sorry, we don't have time.
judiciously
And
or whatever
democracy's
the
at stake,
fucking
so no.
word is.
I think we're well aware. I forgot what I was going to say. Who cares?
Something about how
The
they're
DNC.
fixed.
Okay, switch.
Oh
it
no,
up.
well, no. We know from the last. Sorry, Kumar. We know from the last election that they don't care anyway.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, they'll get their person anyway. So it's almost like they save the taxpayers.
No, but the second that they see that happen with Bernie Sanders, like in real time, that should trigger the federal government to step in and be like, hey, yo, that can't happen. You guys can't do that
It's
shit.
political.
It's, like,
It's political wrestling. It's real because we know it's fake.
it makes the whole that's the foundation of this whole thing, and you're making it look like it's made of cheese.
Joe always talks about having people as funny as possible to follow. And it's sort of
Ron
through
White.
And the buzz goes, if I'm not the funniest guy
Yeah.
on the stage, you gotta go.
I almost thought to myself, Kumar, I was like, I now know, not for me because I will never be, but like I now know if I ever see anyone opening for Ron White that he doesn't respect them as a comedian. You know what I mean? Like if a friend of mine was like, dude, I'm going on tour with Ron White, I get to be like,
Yes,
that's
yes.
too bad. Yeah.
We're casting fat girls in the movie. Mike Baker does a weird thing about, have you seen that Sydney Sweeney? Well, I mean, I say it too, but I think he's older than me, so it's weird. Michelle Obama, I saw her speech. I don't think there's different people because she had like a Cancor monster's teeth this time. And I
The hell's a Cancor monster?
Fucking some are here, some are there. The teeth are everywhere. Really bad set of teeth for someone with $26 million.
Who are you talking about?
Michelle, Mike /
Michelle Obama has jacked up teeth.
crazy horrible teeth. But there's other pictures in the past where she had nicer teeth. So maybe this was a stand-in.
Yeah, but Kamar, you know what? Like Simon, have you been watching? It's not called Lotto. What the fuck's the show called? It's on Apple TV. It's got the chick from Saturday Night Live. She's fuck me. Anyway, there's an actor on it who has awful teeth, Kamar. Like, I mean, some of the worst, most jacked up teeth ever. And Mary the other night was watching the show and she's like, there's no way this guy doesn't have the money to fix his teeth. Like, there's no,
You know who has brutal teeth?
Will Ferrell.
Brutus, the guy who played Brutus in
Rome.
Rome.
Wow, that's a good casting.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Well, a lot of English.
He's a British guy.
Yeah, a lot of British.
He was also in. Maybe it's the same guy you're talking about.
Yeah, in England, they treat orthodontists like chiropractors.
Yeah. Not going near that witchcraft, mate.
The biggest thing Mike Baker wanted to talk about that was somewhat interesting was the fact that they somehow Israel got a bomb inside a safe house inside Iran. Like how much do you think that cost to go?
How do we know that really happened?
Okay, we don't even know that.
No,
Like,
I'm being serious.
assuming
here.
though, getting past that, this is what the story is that happened. Groups of people had to be bribed, extorted, threatened for that to get together. In our mind's eyes, that imagine. But is it $5 million or is it $50,000? That's what I always wonder. What people's prices are in these situations.
Millions.
Do you think so?
Spread out. Yeah, it's not one person, but yeah, for sure.
And how long is the con? It's only there for 5 years training. We'll never know.
Because
You know what I found? Sorry.
no, it's okay.
What I found really interesting, Kamar, was Mike Baker was talking about how someone got killed at 5 a.m. from a drone strike. And he was so vague about it. But I remember Chris Williamson was on a couple weeks ago, remember? Mm-hmm. And Chris Williamson explained to Joe, he was like, yeah, that drone technology that killed that guy, he's like, they knew he was going to be on his balcony having his morning coffee. And he's like, the drone they sent at him is basically like 6 samurai blades. Do you remember that? And he was like, and it just evaporates the guy. Mike Baker was so fucking coy about it. He was like, they just got him with a drone.
Well, that's
I just
the,
knew it was feet.
if you're in the alphabet agency, that stuff doesn't phase you.
If you're one of the alphabet boys,
But you'd still have to have someone in that house telling you he's on the balcony, possibly.
no, you would have somebody outside of the house.
Well, Kamar, did you not? The guy that killed Bin Laden, they had.
They don't even know that anymore, do they?
Well, okay, the guy allegedly the guy that killed Bin Laden, if the story's true, he was like, they knew everything. He was like, I knew when I got to the stairs that at the top of the stairs, Bin Laden's son would be there. And he's like, so when I was at the bottom of the stairs, I said, I can't remember the Arabic sentence. And he's like, and he looked down and I shot him in the face. And he's like, and then I went up to where they said Bin Laden would be, and there he was. And I put 2 in him. And then someone said to me, you just killed Bin Laden, you're famous. So the point is like, what you're talking about, the intel, dude, they know like the square footage. They know where everyone in the house will be.
When they send out those drones, granted, on the day they send it out, it may be like a wedding and they don't give a fuck, but they've been stalking those places.
Dude, that drone is just flying around
No,
there
but
all day and
this
night.
is what I mean. They
Yeah.
have every piece of info imaginable.
Dude,
So that makes it all the worse when there's that much civilian casualty.
Dude, I saw a guy operating a drone remotely the other day, Simon, from the ground. Okay, he's got the FLIR up, and it's literally like a video game. He's got the cursor. He marks the first vehicle. He marks the second vehicle. He marks the third vehicle. He marks the fourth. And then as he's done marking the fourth, you just see the first one blow up. You see the second one blow up.
Yeah,
you see
it's
the and
amazing.
dude, it's so pinpoint. You're like, how do they ever kill civilians accidentally? Like, there's no fucking way.
Well,
You're almost like, there's no fucking way, dude.
Well, this is exactly my point. Can I tell you how?
Yeah.
When you know that they can hit these things with such precision, literally like a cigarette out of somebody's mouth from outer space, How do they kill so many civilians? Because they don't give a fuck, Matt. That
Hold
might
on.
be the only time that guy is available. If you're like a warlord,
I get it.
You don't go out on your balcony most of the time. You're living up in the mountains and you've only come into town for this one wedding or whatever.
Well, those
they
are-
kill everyone at
Hold
that
on.
wedding because that's the only time. I mean, there's
No, but wait,
hold
that's
on.
no, but that's a little bit different. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying sometimes you make decisions that are tough where you say we're going to kill 5 civilians, but we're about to get the worst person on earth off the earth. And those are tough decisions that I'm glad I don't have to make. I'm not what I'm saying is like you can't put it all up to that. I've seen the US military almost bomb themselves. Like I saw a clip the other day where there was 5 guys behind a hill and they're flooring an area that they want to get fucking carpet bombed. And they accidentally fleur themselves and they nearly carpet bomb themselves.
Well, I
So
mean, listen, that happens, but
I agree with you.
those people get killed because they're less important
I agree.
than getting that guy. That's just it. Because otherwise they would follow
Collateral.
him into the fucking mountains and
Collateral
kill him there.
damages.
They can't do that.
The argument I've heard that is if Putin actually wanted to destroy Ukraine, he could.
Of course he could.
They just bomb it into oblivion 2 weeks, but it is destroyed. It's a lot more work. Even though we see footage of buildings blown up and stuff, for the most part, they're trying to do a precision, whatever their military operation is, whether you support it or not. They are trying to spare as many civilians as possible.
I mean, sorry, we assume that that's the case. Maybe Russia has way less powers than we actually think they do. Who knows?
Well, Kamar,
Like,
it's
I don't
weird.
know.
Like what you're saying is odd because they've pushed into Russia. So you would have thought if they could have easily taken over Ukraine that they could at least defend the
No,
border.
they could have leveled Ukraine, but then you...
No, yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying in a normal war, it's
Okay,
going to be
trying to
back and
preserve
forth.
bonds.
Yeah, I
and
get
stuff
it.
like
Well,
that.
listen, they have nukes.
And the other thing I'll say
Well, they're not
is-
going to use nukes because that opens up a whole other thing.
2 weeks ago, they occupied 1,000 square miles, and a day later it was 40 square miles. And he came in saying 500 square miles. And some people were saying they made a big attack and made a big noise, but they're all about to die. So, I mean, it's still developing. What what I just want to say, he said he assumes, whether he's right or wrong, the peace agreement at the end of the day, even if it goes for 2 more years, will be very similar to the one they had at the very beginning, which will be just evidence that this was all a money-making endeavor.
That's weird because I actually don't think. I think this thing will go on
Like
till
the
Putin
least.
dies. Yeah, I just think at this point, like, why would you think Vladimir Putin is going to forget this? Do you think he's just going to one day be like, it's okay that you guys attacked us. It's fine, whatever.
No, it would obviously, it only stops when the money stops Ukraine. And same with the Middle East.
Well, the money stops to the Ukraine once Trump takes power.
That's what we're assuming, if he can stop it a day.
You don't have to assume it. He loves Putin. There's no way he's going to keep funding a war against Putin.
He loves Israel. I mean, no, I guess it's a
No,
different
he
conflict.
loves Israel and he'll keep funding them
funding
for
that one.
sure. That one, the funnel will not stop there.
In any event, we all thought that war would be over by now.
Did we?
I swear to God, I was naive. 14, there'd be no wars. And then remember when the Iraq war took like 10 days? Or seemingly.
You mean Desert Storm?
Desert Storm happened very quickly. You're like, oh, this is what war is like now. And
Yeah,
then, of
it-
course, it extends, and then a thing called an insurgent, which is just another war. But they
Well, isn't it
rename
funny that they did the whole shock and awe?
Yeah.
Which was supposedly to shock and awe the enemy but it's actually for us. It's
Yes.
to shock and awe us so that we keep supporting the war effort. It's really fucked
keep
up.
our
man.
emotions
Yeah.
going? Yeah.
What's really funny is Kamar acted like Desert Storm ended. I think
but-
that's cute.
As
No.
stories developed for the day, it was like, oh, I guess it's over.
No, I know, but do you get
know
what I'm saying?
Kamar's
Like-
saying.
We know now, looking back, that was just the beginning of a.
Like we're still there,
yes,
but you know what I
yes,
mean?
yes,
Like
yes.
Desert Storm
It never
potentially
ends.
is
It
a
never ends. It
30-year
never
war.
No, but I'm telling you, if you ask most people, how did that go? Well, we went in to fight in Iraq.
I agree.
We shock and
Yeah.
awed, and we left.
Yeah. Well, it's the same way Bush stood on that fucking aircraft carrier with mission accomplished.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember
Yeah.
that? He literally was like, "We won the war in Iraq. It's over." He stood. It said,
It's in a couple of documentaries.
Yeah.
So what Mike does, his skill to hide, or if you will, camouflage his bias, he'll say from an operational perspective, right? I mean, who's cares here? But from an operational perspective, this is what they did. And it's very well done. He had a heart attack, so
Can I just real quick? It's
he's
so
on the clock.
It's so funny that Joe has played that clip at least 15 times of that dude. I don't know whether he was a Secretary of State, someone at the DOJ saying, he was like, the playbook is this. We start here, and then we move into here, and then we move into here, and eventually we move into Iran. Like, we heard that 10 years ago. Joe has played that clip
And he
50
played for Mike
times.
Baker. Every time he goes, I've never seen this before.
And
I'll have to look into it.
every time Mike Baker comes in, he's like, I think we need to really, Joe, take a look at the true enemy here, which is Iran.
China.
Well, it's just crazy because, like, if you know the history of Iran, it's the U.S.'s fault.
That's the one thing I just realized through all this. He has given up on China.
On it
Mike
being
Baker decided it was just about the Middle
China's
East
okay.
and Ukraine and Russia.
That's
and
because
Kamala.
that's where they're telling him. Listen, it's
China's back in play. We spent way too much time on it. I mean, if you want to listen to this episode, I wouldn't. We did it for you. I give Mike Baker a 1.
yes, gets a 1 for sure. I'm done with this guy. We say this every time, but it's just enough. Enough is enough.
he's never gonna be done though.
He had a heart
Joe-
attack and a car accident.
Joe has some deal with the devil where he is, because he just refuses to let, no matter how much misinformation this fucking mook comes on and spills on this podcast, Joe refuses to not give him a platform.
It's just crazy though. We went from Alex Jones and Eddie Bravo saying wild shit, and it didn't matter whether it was true or not, whatever. It was fun. To now he's got like a straight up ex-CIA patsy.
Yeah, and if you want
Whose
to bring
credibility erodes with every visit.
if you want to bring him on to balance the Alex Jones and the, I'm okay with that. But we need those guys to. It's you can't just have him on all the time.
No.
It was another time.
Anyways, I hate Mike Baker. I give this episode a 0.5.
There we go. Okay, Kamar.
21.95. Andrew Huberman.
I mean, this one goes a lot like the last one. Just totally different sector, but equally as boring and annoying.
I thought the big thing he talked about is how our olfactory senses are a lot more powerful than we think. Do you guys always have breathing through one nostril?
No, I can smell an antelope from like 6 miles away.
You can smell stuff though. I feel like I smell bad when I'm sick.
You smell bad.
Maybe yourself,
maybe
you
it's because you
smell
don't
bad?
shower because
You
you're lying in bed, you
stink?
sat or whatever.
Or you can't
I
smell
feel,
good.
No, I feel like I just smell like I feel like I smell sick,
Interesting.
Interesting.
but I think it's just in my head.
Because you're sweating out like the sickness or
Yes, exactly. That's what I think. Just like you can smell sex, you can walk in a room and smell when sex has been in there.
You can walk in the room and smell sex has been in there.
Something
Kamar's
happened.
the cum detective. Fuck, like,
He's the black light, walking
I
black light.
smell secretions.
Who came in here?
He was saying our smell is actually
Must eat cum out of
a
bathtub.
lot more similar to dogs than we used to think that they were. So much more. It's just they have way more. They're breathing way faster and getting just bigger samples. 50% of the information in textbooks is false.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's very interesting.
Sorry,
and
can
they're
we come
trying
back
catch
to
up
this textbook thing in one sec? So, do you think because a dog's life is condensed to such a short period of time, all its other,
No.
it can smell really well because it's smelling for a 20-year span instead of for an 80-year span?
No.
What if it was that it didn't have consciousness, or just the fact that it doesn't have to waste on language, or it can focus more energy on its senses?
Interesting.
I know you don't believe in evolution anymore, but it feels more like we probably used to have, and I bet we still have those senses there in like a fight or flight.
I believe it or not, I like what Kamar said.
Yeah, not.
If you're not
energy's
busy
been
worrying
diverted.
about like this guy did me wrong and
Paying rent.
Facebook and this and that and all you have to concentrate on is like where the smells are coming from and where the sounds are coming from, you'll be able to focus on that 100%. I'm in, man. I
Even
think
then,
that's
though,
right.
think about it. If let's say you were in the middle of nowhere, okay? We popped you in the middle of the boreal forest in northern Ontario, okay?
Yes.
And I put you 4 football fields away, but you have a grill in front of you.
Yes.
That's just rife with steaks.
Yeah.
T-bones.
Yeah.
Grilling.
4 kilometers away.
Just get
4 football fields
get
away.
to it.
What I'm saying is, I think any one of us could find that.
I think so too.
Right? You agree?
Blindfolded.
Yeah.
Just walk.
Just walking through the forest,
So
bumping into
you're
trees.
agreeing without the outside stimulation, your senses become way better.
I think to a degree, yeah. Yeah.
But there's also the interest that.
Well, hold on. Wait, sorry. Can I just one thing quick? I think in the city too, your senses might be over.
It's overstimulation.
Yeah, right. Like there's cars, there's garbage, there's
That's
people,
probably
there's
why
everything.
they do that, so you won't know your true self.
But even then, at the same time, animals that live in the city don't lose their senses.
But they're probably dulled for sure.
I guess, yeah.
Let's go with the textbook. That's really interesting.
But that's just. I mean, it makes sense to get all the. You can't take every textbook, destroy it.
It
print
totally
new
makes
ones.
sense, but they should be doing that. Every whatever, make up a number, 7 years, all textbooks
Like the human
flip,
body flips itself.
because you can see from the time even we were kids with our textbooks are so out of date now. Like just take Egypt, okay? Like when we were reading our textbooks, it was 2,000 years, and then it was 3,000 years, and now it's 6,000 years. And then Göbekli Tepe didn't even exist when this textbook was written. So how can they even talk about, or you have kids who are still learning about like the old Clovis now. And you're like, that doesn't even make it, that's not even close to being accurate anymore.
It would be amazing if
Stupid kid, you only know about the old Clovis, moron.
you take
Idiot.
a course, let's say Carleton and Ancient Civilization, and you find out they say the pyramids 2,000 years ago.
I would storm out of the class. I would go right to the dean.
We're always catching up with our knowledge, I suppose.
I would go right to the dean.
Somebody would get sued.
And when you smell something that's bad, you always smell away. You know, like rotted food, anything like that.
A dead body.
Just a dead body. You're completely repelled by it.
No, because some things that people, I guess everybody gets repelled
You're
by
talking about
things
you
that-
like smelling farts.
Well, or not farts per se, but like some people like smelling gas and other people hate it. Some people like the smell of tar, other people hate it.
Wounds smell bad.
No, a festering wound
like an
smells
infection,
bad.
It smells bad.
Yeah.
The evolution of tattoos and piercings is very interesting because I was young enough that if you had a mohawk, face tattoo, hand tattoo, any tattoo, you were an outlaw. You were living outside the realms of possible.
I mean, the face
Being involved in
tattoos to
society.
me, even today, still like you're not going into like your bank and feeling good about doing business.
How do you know? You don't have a fucking face
guy who
tattoo.
has the face tattoo.
Oh, I see what you're I don't
no,
care.
as the commerce person.
I don't think they hire people with face tattoos. There may be lines that are still drawn.
Like if your surgeon comes in right before surgery and
He's
has
got
like
4 teardrops.
yeah, a bunch of teardrops. That's a
That'll-
that's a great bit.
That'll be the day when the mayor of a city has "Born to Serve" across his forehead.
Yeah.
Skibbity toilet for eyebrows.
Oh god.
I have.
If you write skibbity on your body,
Your
because
assignment's out.
Well, no, because I'm just telling you, in 2 years, that's not even going to be. Of
course.
that word is not going to last even half a decade.
So I mean, you see it a lot in like PlayStation names or online names where someone's chosen like the flavor of the day. You know, like Tiger Blood
Yeah.
486 or something like that.
Hodor.
I mean, no offense to anyone, but I just don't approve of face piercings.
You don't approve of them. So a nose ring out.
Nose ring.
You're
Different.
okay with nose rings. What do you not
Lips
like?
and
The
eyebrows.
cheek rings. Those are weird.
Lips and eyebrows. That's interesting.
If you can take someone seriously that's got a ring hanging out of their lip
Or their eyebrow.
or their eyebrow. I cannot.
No, I'm with you.
Sorry if I'm a hitter.
Hold on. Hot girl walks up to you after a show.
Oxymoron.
She's got piercings right here.
Oxymoron.
She's like, I'm ready to blow you.
We're getting blown. I don't approve of it, but who am I to deny her?
Kamar's like, put your biggest studs in possible. So I have
So like
something
even
to
a
grip
nose
onto.
stud, that bothers you? Everything?
No, we
No,
said
no,
that.
nose
yeah,
is
nose,
fine.
okay.
Lip and eyebrow not okay. And anywhere where it's not attached to something, like if you're just
And
putting
I don't
a
mind
piercing,
ears all the way up. Have you seen that one? They have like
no, I
8 piercing
hate
ears?
that.
Well, there you go.
But if you're putting a
Tongue's
piercing in something
tongue, I
like
feel bad for the teeth. That's not good for your teeth.
that has no external part to it, that's a problem.
Gotcha. I mean, that shit has come and gone. I feel like face piercings was like a early 2000, like tongue. Like that was real like late 90s, like raver culture shit. Like the tongue piercings,
Oh,
all
I
the
understand
nose
it's a
and
young-
lip.
young
You
person's
see
game.
tons of people still with pure shit.
Sure.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying
It's not my
it
bag.
feels
I
like
don't-
the boom.
I
was-
don't ever look at it like, I can see that how that looks cool or something like that.
Did you ever think of getting your belly button pierced?
Never. Ever
Are
seen
you
getting
sure?
a back tattoo? Never.
Wait, anywhere on your back?
A back tattoo like
No,
like
he-
a
tramp
tramp
Yeah,
stamp.
you're talking about a tramp. Well, I just
Never.
sorry, you said back
Dude,
tattoo. I
That
was
would
like,
be hilarious
Oh, it
if
would
you
be.
got a tramp
Would it
stamp
be-
or a belly button.
What if I
piercing.
got a wicked tit job and had just sweet tits and you were just staring? It was one of those
those big hairy
tops.
tits.
It'd be so brutal.
What happens there? Like, what if you get like if I play with your tits?
Yeah, that's
What-
gay.
That's gay.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you're jerking me off at the same time? for
No,
sure.
no jerking off. Just tit playing.
You don't like me?
Well, I don't care about jerking you.
Well, here's
off.
the weird thing. Like, are you gonna go from the back?
Yeah.
No,
that's
just
gay. That's
straight
gay.
on.
Well, that's
Looking me
even
in the
gayer
eyes,
because then you gotta
I'm
look him in the eyes. That's so
No,
gay.
I'll be looking at the tits. I'm not staring into his eyes.
It's still a man's chest.
I don't know. I think
I
should
mean,
get them and
is
find
it?
out.
It's a set of tits.
I think I should get them and we should find out.
I think you should get a Men at Work tramp stamp.
Men at work.
Yeah.
2,998 Patreons. It's getting done.
Come on, I wrote a decent joke this week. My dick's so small, I have a 3 skin. Nah, he hates it.
No, that's great. 4 skin, 3 skin, 2 skin.
Simon didn't laugh
1
at all.
skin. I think you just got to
There's something.
My buddy
more
has a
to
micro
Find out
penis.
which
He's got a
one.
1 skin.
yeah, exactly. Figure out which one works. The cold plunge. I have to go back to Tim Ferriss
Tim Ferriss.
with the 1 hour body or the 1 hour mind. He was saying cold showers. Like information was introduced to Joe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He was talking about the benefits of cold, and it just was, oh, that's a good idea. I can't remember what was the turning point. It might have been Laird.
No, Laird was the sauna.
But there was a point where Joe was more of a isolation tank guy than a cold plunge guy. Now he's a cold plunge guy.
Cold plunge guy was Wim Hof. That was the.
Okay, yeah. That.
Kamar, I think the difference is the cold plunge Joe feels like is good for his physical health. Like it's keeping him alive and young. And I think the isolation tank was really just like a meditative thing, like good for the mind. And I think as Joe gets older, his mind is fine. I mean, he's sharp. He's, you know what I mean? I think it's more,
I
he's
think
trying
it's
to.
collecting dust. The isolation tank. But
Well, I mean, here, hold on too. It's tough to do a selfie video of yourself in the isolation tank. It's
I was gonna say when he's in the sauna, when he's working out, he can multitask.
Yeah.
But when you're in the isolation tank, like you're giving
an
up
hour.
that time.
It's almost his meditation.
Look, he can't even give away the time to watch the movie of the guy who's coming on his show, let alone,
it's true.
you know, I don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about.
Joe not having time to watch anything
No, I know that.
No, but at
why
the
did
same
that-
because you
Time.
were like, how can he can't multitask certain things.
Oh, right, multitask. There you go.
At the same time, he watches everything.
No, he doesn't.
No, he
though.
doesn't at all.
No, I saw the Kamala news clip or this news clip or that clip. Or
Well,
that
because
show.
he's obviously watching.
He watches
Reels.
Instagram. Yeah, he's like a regular human. He spends 30 minutes taking a shit after his cold
Oh
plunge.
yeah, and then comes onto the show and spouts every like headline he's read. That's why Jamie had to fact check him so much. He does what we do.
Yeah, he's us.
He's a normal person,
He's
but
us, with tons of money.
a ton
Yeah,
of money,
yeah.
and zero self-awareness.
But it doesn't matter. That's the self-awareness doesn't matter because, like you said, people are just looking for us. We
Oh
don't
my
care if you
God.
have money. It's like you said with Tom and Bert. Tom and Bert kind of started flaunting the money. Like Joe never really flaunts the money. You don't see a lot of photos or videos of his beautiful home. He doesn't do
What
a lot
does he
of
call the money?
fuck you money.
Free tokens or
Oh, yeah.
happiness tokens.
But think about this. How many times do you think Joe's flown private?
no. I
And you know what I mean?
yeah,
You
no,
never. I've
I
never seen a
agree with
photo
you.
of Joe on the tarmac with a Gucci bag in a fucking private jet.
They roast fucking Bert Kreischer so good in this episode.
Joe does not
Let's
like
talk
Bert.
about Bert.
Dude, where he's like, Huberman's like, yeah, Bert called me. He wants me to help him quit drinking. And Joe's like,
That's not
no,
happening."
he doesn't. He wants you to talk about Bert to Bert. So they, you know what I mean? Like
What can happen?
it's so
though?
true.
What
though.
can happen?
Did you guys see the clip?
What are you saying?
Bert can do a mea culpa and come to a Jesus moment and realize he's sort of become insufferable and always about himself.
Nothing's wrong with Bert.
Oh
He's
no,
still
he
making
would,
money.
so.
he would have to like take some time away from
And just relax and get to know his inner
go
child.
go away for a year.
Maybe decide he doesn't even like doing comedy anymore.
yeah, just go away for
Just
a
like
year.
he chased doing the travel shows because he thought this is what he was
Spend a
doing.
year with your family.
Did you guys see the clip of Bert on some morning show with the Reds pitcher?
You took my
Yeah, I took it. I'll go grab you one. There's the great clip. Bert is like calling into this morning show, and it's this woman and this ex Cincinnati Reds player. And Bert's like, she's like, yeah, I'm here with Danny Jansen. And Bert's like, oh, that's crazy. I used to play baseball with a guy named Danny Jansen in Tampa.
Oh, I've seen
and
that,
he keeps going along, and the guy's like, whoa, hold on. My name's Danny Jansen, and I'm from Tampa. And Bert's like, Danny Jansen from Tampa? And he's like, dude, you used to pitch to me. And he's like, what high school did you go to? He's like, I went to Jesuit. And the guy's like, shut the fuck up. He's like, did you know so-and-so? And he's like, yeah. And then Bert is so oblivious. He goes, wow, you really threw heat. He goes, did you want to play college ball? And the woman intervenes. She goes, he's a Reds Hall of Famer, Bert. And Bert's like, you went on to play. I was like, how do you grow up and not know someone you grew up with played Major League
This
Baseball?
has got nothing to do with him.
Is that not crazy to you, though?
I want to see the clip.
Do you know every person that you grew up with who went on to play professional sports? Yes, you do.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's two guys or something. like
Yeah.
that.
One of them brought the Stanley Cup to Irene's.
But Bert's got a lot more going on. Just like Adam Sandler said, he meets famous people that he.
I guess, yeah, you're right. We're just normal plebs. You're right.
I
yeah.
would forget some things.
Simon, I did you a favor. That one's extra fresh and cold. That one had been sitting there for like 25 minutes.
Okay, thanks, man.
You're welcome. Andrew Huberman watched
Grow
Joe's.
up, Matt.
Andrew Huberman had watched Joe's special 3 times.
Well, it's like an ice bath.
The
It's like something you don't want to do, right? you got to
And
get
it's hard
back
to-
in.
and that frames your mind to
Yeah.
do something else that's difficult.
Exactly, yeah.
the hardest thing you've ever done is just watch Joe's special, like in the ice bath. No, just watch his special.
Just fucking like Clockwork Orange with your eyes cranked open.
Yeah, no, I have a real problem. Like, look, if we never want to talk about Joe's special again, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I don't need to harp on it. But when the guest comes on and gives him all these flowers, like
Non-comedian.
I'm sorry, it just like opens the door for us to bag on it, you know? Because it's just not true. It's like when they were telling us Biden wasn't compromised. It's like them telling us that fucking
It's along that vein.
aliens don't exist. You know what I mean? Like these are things we know to be true.
I just don't want to harp on it because it doesn't hurt me that other people liked it. I don't really care. Like if again, the customer's always right. If half the world loved Joe's special and I didn't, like fair enough.
No. That's not what I'm saying, Matt. I'm saying these people are coming on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
We give them a certain amount of credit
Yeah.
that they're an expert in their field and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But then they're saying this totally disingenuous statement. So then I can't believe anything you're saying.
Yeah, but it's outside of his
You're
field.
ruining
It's
your
outside of his- but hold
credibility.
on.
That's why
for me.
we fail,
He's still
Simon.
lying to everybody's face.
That's why we fail. That's what you're supposed to do.
Simon,
go
what-
on and say it's a great special.
What
give
you
flowers.
what you're looking for, and I think I am too, but we're not going to get it. What you're looking for is someone like Ari to come on and have a Brendan Schaub moment.
I would love that, Matt, but I don't even want that. I just come on and don't say anything. Just don't talk about it.
Cross your fingers. There's a Protect Our Parks coming up, and something comes out about the special.
Just say,
Did you
hey,
see-
I saw you did a special.
Did you see when the Skanks hooked Ari up to a lie detector
was the
test?
best thing ever.
And they asked him, "Did you like Brendan Schaub's special?"
No, do you think Brendan Schaub is a good
Sorry,
comedian?
whatever it is. Sure.
Yeah.
Again, I think
Well, I think those guys are still going to have they're going to get bigger. Just this idea of how long things can be successful for, and is there a peak popularity, and then you're sort of you're oversaturated.
Usually, it seems like
Kill Tony, the biggest show in the year in 10 years from now.
karma usually
Don't
takes
think
care of everything. You know what I mean?
No, I disagree with
Well,
that.
no. Usually, I'm
Do me
saying.
a favor. That eye. Just do this. It's gone. Good.
What is it?
I don't know. You had a little flacon on your eyelash for the last 40 minutes, and it's all I can look at. You're good. You're good.
You should have come over and blown it off.
Kiss from a rose, like seal. I'm
You're good at singing those tunes.
Yeah, I am.
Imagine you just start humming it and then come over and blow the thing off my eyelash.
At trivia, I started singing that Seal song before playing it, and the girl was like, "Seal." I was like, "No fucking way."
Compliment.
Yeah, go ahead, Kumar. Does it say in
Kissed
sync
by
there?
a rose on the floor.
Do you find that boomers are the least skeptical generation? They just believe everything?
Are we boomers?
No.
What are we? Oh,
parents.
we're Gen X. Eh?
Our parents are boomers.
They
Our
are, you know,
parents are boomers.
my stepdad is a good example of someone who is like, like so smart. Like he's an engineer. Bill is really fucking smart, super fucking smart
Yeah.
guy. Also, it bothers me how stuck in his old ways. Like,
And my father is exactly the same. So
yeah.
totally different
Yeah.
thing. Very smart
Yeah.
guy. Believes everything he sees on CNN.
I'm not going that far. What I'm saying though is like, if Bill has if something that Bill learned in school when he was
Yeah,
in
this is
school
what I'm
is
saying.
in there, there is no amount of evidence you can show him to tell him like the world changed since then and they adjust. Like he's just
Bill
like,
still thinks the pyramids were built 2,000 years ago, and
Yeah,
there's
sure.
nothing you can tell him that's
Yeah.
going to change his mind.
no, and it's weird to me because again, I look at him, I'm like, how is it possible that you're like the smartest person I know, but there's certain things where I can show you 10 articles that are like definitively science has shown now that that's not the case anymore, and he's still like, no, my dad taught me this or someone I trust taught me this, and I get that someone smart taught you. It's like if Bill taught me something and 10 years down the road, no, that's not how you change a tire. I'd be like, what the fuck? You know?
It is a what the fuck moment.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, look, shit happens.
Because everything is based on this was the truth that I.
Yeah, it's your foundation.
harder,
Yeah, and if once the foundation starts to crumble, you're like, does anything I believe real? Like, have I learned anything that's real?
I don't think we've learned anything.
Well,
that's-
You're
according
probably
to Rick
right.
Rubin, who came up, nothing is real.
Yeah,
I don't trust Rick Rubin any further than I can throw him.
You got to find someone to love, Simon. If people are going to take Ozempic, they might as well sell steroids, right?
Yes.
they do sell steroids. What are you talking about?
No, but there should be commercials for Pump It Up or Pumpesium. Ask your doctor.
Pumpesium.
Whatever it is. In MDMA tests, there's pause and as well as mushrooms. Because can someone be responsible for themselves with the therapist when they're talking?
I'm sorry, Kumar. Have you just 1 second? Have you ever seen the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where they make the crow's milk? It's the milk supplement for bodybuilders.
I don't think I've
You've
seen it,
never
no.
seen that?
No.
Oh my god, Kumar, have you seen that?
Probably.
And they do the commercial for it. Oh, dude, it's so good. That's what I thought about when he was saying
Crow's milk.
selling the steroids.
You really derailed that.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead, Kumar. What
Go
else you
ahead,
got?
Kumar. What do you got?
Is someone in control when they're inebriated like that?
Well, the guy. Oh, hold on.
That's why I think he said they should have 2 therapists there.
Well, I think that's stupid. I don't think it's stupid. Sorry, I don't mean Andrew Huberns. I just think that he knows that in those clinical trials, they're really like dialing it in. It's not like you're doing MDMA on the street. I would agree that if I just take a dose of MDMA and then went to my therapist, that what I
What
say.
was he saying? I don't understand.
What he was saying was like, if you do therapeutic mushrooms or MDMA,
Yeah.
how do you know what you're telling the therapist isn't influenced by the MDMA? As in, like, I think what he's saying is like, if you do a bunch of MDMA, you might just say a bunch of half truths or lie.
Well, I
or-
think from what I know, when you're doing the MDMA,
it's like a truth serum.
it's just loosening your inhibitions. It's so that you're releasing more information. Some people, and
What
this
if there's
is
therapy?
This
We
is
just drink
crazy.
Jack Daniels.
I
Let's
went,
get it out.
I went to therapy as a kid.
Yeah.
For whatever, I don't even remember. I didn't tell him one truth.
Yeah.
If you're going to therapy and lying to your therapist,
Just
People's
wasting money. You're just throwing money away.
but so many people do it.
I think you're doing. I agree with you. I think what you're doing though is you're conflating. There's some people that are actively lying, and there's some people that are just living their lie. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's certain people that go through life and are like the world's against me.
Yeah.
And if someone were to walk behind them for a week, they would go, "The world isn't against you. You're just a fucking asshole." Or you get what I'm saying? Like, I think some people are just so in their own heads that there's another one over there beside the keyboard. You said it was dead or it didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and some people just like look. They believe that they're in the right about something. You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's what I'm saying,
They
yeah.
believe they're
Like there are people that grow up with great parents that are that just feel jaded. They're like, my mom was a bitch and my dad
Yeah.
was an asshole.
Yeah.
And again, if you zoomed out and asked someone else, they'd be like, oh, their parents were great. Like they just didn't give them everything they wanted as a kid, and so that person felt, jaded or angry.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Kumar. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm not. Sorry. I was just enjoying my sweet nicotine.
Oh, because you gave us a long dog sigh there. And I was like,
Have
oh,
you guys seen the movie Awakenings?
no,
Excellent.
With Robin Williams?
Yeah.
I have.
Half the
I haven't. Sorry.
The
He died 10 years ago this week.
key. That's why I was going to
Oh,
do it.
I'm
but
sorry.
The key to it is movement. That's really what I got at what Andrew Huberman said for everyone. I mean, just even moving, anything to make your brain think about doing stuff. And so that's what when it does something that hasn't been done before. It's like, oh, how do I do this?
I do crosswords every day.
That's good, but you should walk and do them if you could do it. Now, the biggest thing that Joe demonstrated how he's like, don't be married to your thoughts, is his new stance on marijuana.
Can I back up to the walking 1 sec? Go back to the marijuana.
Movement, marijuana.
No, it just, I feel like getting a dog. Like the amount of
Yep.
movement that Huberman mentioned, it seemed like if you got a dog and walked it as much as you should,
Unless
that's
you're,
like,
as much as you should, as long as you're not a bad owner.
yeah, but if you took, like if you're taking your dog for 2 good walks a day, it seemed like that was the minimum requirement he
Your
was talking
pet
about
is
for
helping
movement.
you
Yeah.
stay alive,
Yeah.
and you're cognitive because you're worried about them. Yeah, that's a great point, man.
Sorry, back to the marijuana. I didn't mean to cut you off again.
Well, just Joe was everyone should be smoking marijuana. Give babies marijuana.
That is admirable how he's switched his stance. You know what's also admirable? How I've switched my stance on chiropractic.
It is admirable. You're very admirable.
quietly.
Simon.
No, loudly. I mean, I say, I got sucked in. It's
You
kind
thought it
of
was witch doctors, and now you know it's science.
well. I don't know about science, but I think it probably works because they want us to believe that it's
doesn't
so
work.
bad. It's like the acid, right?
Story
It's
over
gonna
time.
stay in your spinal column for 40 years or whatever.
Yeah, forever.
It doesn't
Also-
even go into your spinal column. We don't even have spinal columns.
Wasted on us is if you're young, do everything you can.
Yes.
Because the plasticity you possess, it's just like let's go.
No, it's more just time. You got to do it all when you're young.
Today,
man.
Charles Leclerc won the Ferrari won in Italy, so that's just the best it could be. But he's French, or he's born in Monaco. But when he was driving his last lap, he was all talking in Italian. I was like, oh, like he's French, Italian.
Brought to you by things we don't give a shit about.
Wow. Kamar, I think you forget there's a lot of Europeans that speak multiple
All of them,
languages. Yeah.
all of them, and they're young when they're exposed to it. So it's, I mean, that's not suicide. My French should be better.
I'm not going to harp on this, but I am just going to say this one more time.
Okay.
How is it possible? Joe has been to Greece.
Yeah.
He's right. Like, get on your private jet, fly to the fucking pyramids. How is that possible that he hasn't been there
he
yet?
fears the unstable nature of that region.
He could go with like bodyguards and fucking get special when everything's closed. When I hear him talk to people about and have to describe the pyramids from what he sees in books, even though he's been to like the Mexican ones, Teotihuacan, and
Yeah.
knows what an amazing feeling that must be like to be in front of one of those things.
I don't think you realize how terrible it is to travel to Egypt.
I don't think it's that terrible, dude.
It's really bad. They make it's really bad. It's
I was almost there. Like I had a ticket to, you know what? It
so
doesn't
you
even
did what Joe
matter.
did. You were right there, but you didn't go.
Look, I would love to be able to get on a private jet anytime I want and fly to any wonder of the world.
Yeah. Well, that private jet is new, right?
For Joe?
Yeah, like private jet money's the last 5 years. Just in his defense. Like, I get what you're saying. He still could have flown first class to Egypt, spent a week, had good handlers. I'm with you. I'm not.
I don't want, I know I've harped on this before, so I don't want to harp about it, but like every time somebody brings it up, I'm just like, this is bonkers.
Simon, again, I will agree with you that if I had $500 million and was this interested and I had Graham Hancock at my disposal,
Yeah.
I would rent out the site for the day and have a private tour. You know?
100%. 100%. Yeah. 100%. Just like Matt, I bet that he goes hunting everywhere he wants to go hunting in the world. You know?
No, he just hunts in the U.S. I don't think he goes anywhere
You're
outside of the U.S.
absolutely right. You are correct.
Yeah.
But he could go hunting anywhere he wanted.
I think he doesn't leave the States as much as you think
Well,
anymore.
because he's not a trophy hunter, one.
Yeah.
But leave the States, I don't like, again, I get it. If you have to like travel like a pleb, I get why you would never want to leave home. That's me. Like the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
But like if you can fly private,
Simon, listen, if I had Joe's money, I would fly you private to Egypt. We would go together.
yeah.
We'd get the best handlers.
Yeah.
I would show you all the stuff. Look at this, Simon.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at this.
I'd do that if I was rich too.
Yeah.
Would you?
No.
No, I don't think you would.
I'd do something nice for you.
I would take you to the biggest Bass Pro Shop pyramid in the world.
People are not supposed to get famous. Like it happens, we do it to ourselves, but
I think you're absolutely right, Kamara. And I think if you look back in history, it's never been a good thing.
no one's
when
ever
people
handled it
have
like,
gotten famous.
I was just meant to be famous, and
I disagree. I think some people handle it.
they do they the best they can, but it's not natural. It's not healthy.
Here's the thing, though. We know.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we know that a lot of famous people like go where the paparazzi are. They make their life more difficult than it needs to be. We know, like the Daniel Day-Lewises of the world, you can just fuck off and be a cobbler and be left alone. There's no like need.
But I think he has to work to not be famous.
I don't think he does.
I think that we're not kind of like you're only meant to have so many friends. You know that?
Yeah.
You're only
Dunbar's
meant to
number.
live in small municipalities. Like that's why cities are so fucked up. That's why we've gotten so fucked up is this mass conglomeration of people together. The world is a big place, and yet we're all in the same.
But that's perfect. That's why I use Daniel Day-Lewis might be the perfect example. Like he is famous. If you saw him and you had my eyes, you could recognize and be like, holy shit, that's Daniel Day-Lewis. And then there might be a bunch of eyes on him. But if you just go and live in a small town in Italy, like you're saying, eventually that's going to wear off for everyone in that town. You know what I mean? You're going to have 2 months maybe of people like Daniel Day-Lewis, and then you're just another guy who lives in the town. And if you're polite to everyone, then you just get to live your life. I think, again, like if you choose to live in LA, you choose to spend all your time in LA or Paris or like places where all the paparazzi are, then yeah, you're going to make your life a living fucking hell.
Yeah. You're talking about like famous people. I'm just talking about the idea of living, or you know what I mean?
Where everyone
Like,
knows who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's too much. It's
I will tell you though, like from living in New York, I think you'd be surprised at how well a lot of really famous people just blend in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I saw Matthew Broderick on the train one day and not a single person batted an eye, noticed, and I'm sitting there like, holy fuck.
But if you lived in, I think if you lived in Carlton Place,
And
no one would
Matthew-
know who you were as well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I also think, Simon, though, like maybe you're right. Like if Matthew Broderick was walking around Ottawa, no, even then, I bet a lot of people wouldn't even notice the right beard and hat. I don't know.
And did you listen to Clash?
yes.
I always like it when bands seem so iconic, but they're only around for 5 years. The Beatles only did 8 albums.
Because
that
they
sort of
made
stuff.
one fucking
It
bit
resonates
of
at the
music
time.
that has lasted the test of time. Yeah, it's cool.
And then the other thing, you talk about Rick Rubin and the Beastie Boys. Apparently, the Beastie Boys were making fun of punk rock.
Yeah.
All their punk rock was making fun of it. And then they started making fun of rap and fell into their success. It wasn't actually like artistic. I guess it was a parody that worked into a lifelong career. Yeah, it's
It's like
heartbreaking.
tomorrow if Weird Al
don't
came out
know
with like a
that
real
song.
album.
I'm sorry to tell you that.
No, I don't. I disagree.
Well, Rick Rubin was behind it also. What does that
Well,
tell you?
Rick Rubin is a lying bag of shit. How about that?
Exactly.
Okay, he's telling you what he wants you to hear to paint history the way he wants it.
No, this is from the Beastie Boys' mouth.
You know, Rick Rubin he's just the equivalent of that big fat guy who made the fucking NSYNC.
I want to find someone you like.
What's his name?
Dom Perlman.
Ron Perlman.
No, that's Hellboy.
You're close though, Kamar.
I am.
It's crazy too that Andrew Huberman was so deep into skateboarding. Like he actually is like,
Skated. You shredded.
no, but listen, I know a lot of people that skated. I don't know a lot of people that were like that. Like he knows a lot of people in the.
Well, I think he has a bunch of them who work with him. That's why he got so into. You know, he has a bunch of clients who are skateboarders.
Sure, but he came up skateboarding and like he knows, like I'm pretty sure he knows all, like Jim Tebow and all the fucking big hitters over at like Spitfire and in the Bay Area. He works with what's the fucking photographer's name? Black, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm an idiot. Are we rating it? We're done, Kamar?
I give it a 2.5. Lou Pearlman.
Lou. Well, you got the Perlman. That's all that matters. I'll give it a. You sure, Kamar? You know what? I'm just matching your shit today. 2.5 sounds fine.
Who else is on this week? Just
Fitz,
Fitzgibbons. That's it. So I'll give this one a 2.
All right, there you have it. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to pay a bill, and we will be right back. We are back.
Time.
Thank you to BetterHelp and the Patreons. Kamar,
Don't join the Patreon.
Name and a number.
2196. Greg Fitzsimmons, host of Fitz Dog Radio.
Fitz dog.
You want to start? You want to do anything? Or?
Dead air.
What
I
happened?
Like it.
What happened with us when we never got into cigars? We'd be into cigars by now if we're cigar guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to get a cigar.
I don't like cigars at all.
Yeah, they're gross.
They gross me out. I always end up inhaling them by accident.
Gross.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
That's the other thing. I don't understand. Like, I'm going to just put this smoke in my mouth for flavor. I don't
I
know.
get it. If I'm not putting it directly into my lungs.
Yeah, if it isn't affecting my health directly, I'm not interested.
I need it to main source right to the.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're doing with those nicotine pouches. Like
Yeah.
you're getting your nicotine the old-fashioned
Yeah.
way through cigarettes. I'm just mainlining this
Yeah.
shit right
Yeah.
through my fucking
Putting it right into my
salival
liver.
glands. Just some sublingual satisfaction.
He's got nothing.
No, you said there's lots in this one we could talk about, but joke stealing. Could there be a way where you would actually tell someone's joke?
Go on.
I mean, if you would attribute it.
Go on.
Like a great joke from 20 years ago, you tell it. You don't say it's your own, but you are able
Oh,
to
you're
tell
just telling somebody else's
it.
joke.
If someone could tell someone's joke better.
Well, it's kind of like, you know how Mickey Mouse's Steamboat Willie is now public domain?
Mm-hmm.
Like after a certain amount of time, a joke should just become public
We
domain.
should go be going through some Mark Twain
and
stuff.
then anybody can do a remix on that joke, you know?
But like some good jokes are just good to be told as
Like, go on, tell me one.
Take my wife. No, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great joke.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah.
The phoniness of LA. Because Greg still lives in LA, and Greg bought a Mustang. It was his big time to shine, and Joe asked him what kind. He was, I don't know. I just wanted a muscle car.
Well, that's great. I like that, you know?
You love Greg Fitzsimmons.
I do like Greg Fitzsimmons. You know why I like him? Because he's a real guy.
Did you watch the special?
No.
Okay,
I
well,
don't care to.
that's
I'm
smart.
just saying, he's a real guy. There's nothing that seems phony about Greg.
He's a real married guy that lives in LA.
I know you hate him because he followed vaccine protocol, but like, I don't think he's as left as you make him out.
What
to
about
be.
the fact that the Legion of Skanks booked him and then forgot they booked him?
That's very funny.
He doesn't hold as much standing as maybe we think.
I'm not suggesting that he's like the bee's knees of the comedy scene.
And I'm suggesting he's doing great.
I think he's doing okay.
Fantastic.
I don't know about
He's
fantastic.
got a wife. He's got his kids through school. I mean,
Oh yeah,
can't get better
in
than
that regard, but in his comedy career, I mean,
He's not a millionaire. Comedian selling out stadiums.
he's never made a special, has he?
He has
Just
to.
put it out.
I know.
That's,
I'm just joking.
that's a good one.
I personally like him. I like when he comes on because Joe is can't talk down to him no matter what. You know,
Because
what
they're
I mean?
best friends.
Yeah, they're peers. They're like legitimate peers.
But Joe is just trying to be. He cannot. Well, I guess to our benefit, he's not going to talk about fighting.
Yeah, and he's
not
not
in that
going to
world.
like
He's not gonna actually
try
talk
and
about cars.
teach Greg about comedy.
And he's not going to talk about getting in shape.
Did you watch his new special, Kumar?
I did.
What's it like?
It's great.
If you had to compare it to Joe's new special, like give us a mark for each.
They both get a B.
They both get a B, so now I don't even know what to make of that special at all.
I was going to say, I don't think that helps Simon
Yeah,
one
that
bit.
doesn't help me one bit. Remember I said disingenuousness?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm really picking up on it here.
Greg was very vulnerable when he admitted that he asked Howard Stern on air to cite his book. And he's like, I will not do that in a million years.
That's harsh.
It is harsh.
Yeah. Well, Howard Stern really seems like a fuckface.
But he was a
Kind
hero.
of like Mark Maron. Like they just seem like disagreeable gents.
Yeah, but sometimes heroes, Kumar, like, you know,
Absolutely, it can change.
Don't
Yeah,
meet
and-
your heroes.
yeah.
That's what they say.
And I think you liked the show maybe more than how, I don't know.
I never listened to the show. What I had is I watched Private Parts. I was like, oh my God, this is what this guy, because I heard him in the media as shock jock, this, the other. I don't even know what that meant.
I saw him.
Don't think I ever liked shock jocks. But then when I saw the movie, the self-made aspect, sticking to the man, sticking his gun.
Isn't
being
that
himself.
interesting? That's how I came to know Howard Stern as well, was through that movie, which probably should be our movie game, Kamar.
Oh,
It's the JREE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon to rack their brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JREE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office. This also introduced me to a little-known actor known as Paul Giamatti.
This is the fucking Journal of a Madman. Like,
AKA.
this is
I'm well aware.
dude. This
Oh,
is
I'm
insane.
well aware, yeah.
That is your
in horror
that is
movie.
yours.
This could be a horror movie prop. Like when they go into the guy's house and find out why he's killed everybody.
I told you I want to
like,
keep it,
doesn't
and I'm
even
gonna,
make any
we're going to
sense.
raffle it off to a patron.
It's
No, we're not
dude,
gonna raffle it off.
It's
We're gonna
insane.
use
Some
it
of
to
these
5150
pages are
them.
insane. Like some of them have fluids on them, and it's crazy.
No, I know. I've looked at it. It's the,
You know what, I'm
the
gonna work-
rantings of a
I'm gonna work
madman.
on this one today.
Directed by Betty Thomas. Music by Rob Zombie, the Dust Brothers, Porno for Pyros, and Marilyn Manson.
Oh, remember Porno for Pyros?
I do.
Perry Farrell?
Jesus.
And
Was it Perry Farrell?
all the stuff.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Also, I
The
saw
James Addiction guy.
Howard
was it
Stern
Perry-
objectified women by no other standard.
Say that again?
Yeah, I did not say what I meant to say
No.
there at all.
Can you answer his question though?
Was
Porno
it?
for Pyros, was it Perry Farrell?
It was Fairy Peril.
Ferry Peril.
I'm ready.
Okay, hold on. I'm not ready.
The film premiered at the theater at Madison Square Garden. Oh, I thought it was going to be in the actual arena.
Simon, you have a year at least?
I'm getting there. Hold on.
WNBC.
Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, I think I'm ready.
All right. I said it came out in 1997.
And I said 92. I thought it was early on.
Well, if you said 1997, you are correct.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's in play, folks.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Simon.
Well, I don't have it written down yet, but I'll just take a swing at it here. I think it cost $11 million to make, and it grossed $62 million.
I said it cost 26 and it made 40.
We have a winner. Budget $28 million.
Oh.
Box office $41.2
Oh, yeah,
million.
baby.
Nice.
What a way to start off the year.
It's not the new year, the month, you mean?
What a way to start off the month.
I like that he thinks Labor Day is the new year. He lives by very weird, like,
Because he can't wear white
rules,
anymore,
this
so it's
guy.
a new year for him.
That's
can't
why he's
believe-
wearing black today, just
Yeah.
to be fucking difficult.
That movie I watched 27 years ago.
Yeah, that's nuts.
When you think about like your time experience as a young person's
it's
life,
crazy. It's crazy.
Come on, that happens to me at trivia all the time where I'm like, I'll ask a question and people are like, how are we supposed to know this? And I'm like, guys, it came out 29 years ago. Yeah.
None of you were
Yeah,
even
yeah.
born.
No, it's like some girl the other day was like, how am I supposed to know this? And I'm like, come on, it came out in 2004. And she's like, I was born in 2004. And I was like,
well, read a book, bitch.
Well, know what happens in your birth year, dum dum.
exactly, yeah. No, it is weird having life experiences versus not. Like you just don't have. It's we talk about it all the time. Like when you're growing up, you see a coach on the bench, in a suit, yelling at a ref, and you think nothing of it. You're just like, oh, this guy, just some guy who got the job. And then you see like a video of them playing the sport, and you're like, oh, what the fuck?
that hurts. Yeah, that hurts a lot. They've done a lot in their life.
I heard the craziest stat. Listen to this. When Frank Gore entered the NFL, LeBron James averaged 27.5 points per game. Frank Gore's son entered the NFL, and LeBron James is averaging 25.7 points per game.
The passage of time,
Isn't that crazy?
timing the passage. Do you guys love gear stores?
What?
The
Gear
fuck
stores.
is a gear store?
Gear, like camp store, like Cabela's would be a big one.
Oh yeah, love
Sale.
Bass, what is it? Pro Bass,
it. Bass
Sale.
Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop. Because I remember when I was going to camp and stuff, I would love to go to a place called Army Surplus.
Oh, love Army Surplus. That's even different though. Army Surplus has like old army shit too.
Well, that's gear. Anything.
Well, no, but
from the
you can't find that at Mountain Equipment Co-op. They're two different things.
Mountain Equipment Co-op is less of a gear spot.
No, Cabela is the
Can
same
you get a
thing.
fishing rod at a?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
It's like a tactical. It's it'd be,
Survival spot.
I'm saying you could,
hunting, camping, fishing.
Outdoors.
at the Army Surplus. You can literally buy like
A grenade.
preserves for your camp. You know what I mean? That
Rations.
the Army rations. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good thing to
You
buy
can
in this
buy
day and
like
age.
Army cots and Army
cots?
You can't buy that shit at Cabela's.
I bet you can, but it's just a sport.
They just don't have
It's
an
the
army cot. They have a
North Face
designer
cot.
cot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Cabela's sells like Carhartt. I don't think they're selling Carhartt at Army Surplus.
Don't be so smug. But no,
You know
everyone
what?
loves like a what was it called? It was like plates and dishes that would all fit together.
Yeah, love it. And a spork.
What's that? Yeah, spork, of course. But what's that called?
A picnic basket.
Oh, they were called something.
Foldable plates.
Anyways, ladies, I know you're listening. Do you like gear stuff? Because I think it's a guy thing.
Well, they
Right
probably
now-
have
right
their
now,
own gear.
I never
stuff.
saw a Swiss Army knife I didn't love.
Dude,
It's
right
called
now,
a makeup store.
there's a British person listening who loves cocaine and is definitely
Oh, thinks gear is
convinced that
scary.
you're having a
store.
fucking.
Why you holding?
Trust me, those places exist too.
And then there's sort of a matrix moment for me. What would you rather be in an airplane or a boat
by
in
the
the middle
way,
of the ocean, Simon?
I cheated. Just totally. Yeah, we did that like a month and a half ago, 3
You
months ago.
cheated at what?
At the movie game, 100%.
Private parts?
Yeah,
it's in the
so
book.
so much for turning over a new leaf.
You know what? Doing that is not funny.
No, telling us on air is not fun.
I think it's pretty funny.
Okay, well now we have to do another movie game.
That's the movie game.
No, that was the movie game.
He'll come up with another one. It's fine.
Would you rather be in the plane or stuck at sea in the boat? Because at least the boat, you're on the surface.
What are you
Hold on, say
saying?
this
Like,
again.
where I get stranded in the air or I get stranded at sea?
Well, strand in the air is very temporary, obviously.
Well, this is what I'm asking. I
But
don't
you hate
understand.
flying, but you'd rather be on a cruise.
No, I don't like being confined. Period. I'd like the cruise a little better because at least you can go out on deck and smoke a cigarette. But
The plane could fall from the sky.
and the boat could sink by hitting an iceberg.
And then they brought up the boat.
It's called the Titanic. Matt.
capsized
Ever
in
heard of
Italy,
it?
which Simon wasn't interested in. We find out it's a bunch of billionaires and a weird weather incident. I think the big deal was the anchor. I think in a storm, you want to let go of an anchor, let it crash into stuff, but not be held to turn over. I think I'd rather be in the plane.
Joe was quick to go with direct energy weapon. He was. Maybe I'm wrong. It felt like he was pretty quick to go direct energy weapon.
I mean, isn't that the answer to everything?
Yeah.
Really?
But it would make sense as Joe wanted to believe, whether it is or not, that we can make a hurricane happen. No, not we, but there are individuals that can fuck with other countries through that weapon.
Well, we know that they seed the clouds. Like that's not even a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, we
that's
know that,
That
yeah.
is a fucking fact.
Yeah.
Like even our fathers would agree to that, Matt.
Yes,
you know
yes,
what I
they would,
mean?
yeah.
Okay. So if that's what we know about, what they must have taken that to 100 times the level militarily.
Cloud seeding?
Yeah. So they probably can control the weather. They probably can make tsunamis. Like how hard would
They
it be
could
to like
probably affect economies.
put a nuke underwater and just start a giant wave?
Well, there's another thing they talked about, all the nuclear tests. Does that lead us to believe that radiation is not as dangerous as we believe?
How do tsunamis work exactly?
There's an earthquake underwater. That's it.
Makes a giant wave?
I think it's actually, there's a shift.
The plates moving creates.
So it's probably pretty easy to
it
mimic
displaces-
a tsunami then by just putting, like I said, a nuke underwater.
It would displace a bunch of water.
I don't know about that, Simon.
You
Maybe.
think a nuke is less powerful underwater than that shift of the plates?
Yeah, I think the whole Earth moving is much more effective than a nuke. I'm not saying you wouldn't get like some sort of. Well, when you go watch a tsunami, Simon, like if you go, there's a video of the tsunami in Japan where like you hear the sirens and it's just a steady camera of the street, and within 4 minutes of the video, like 6 stories of water have
sucks out
encroached
and
the
then
city.
comes back.
Well, that just means that it was close when they started filming.
Yet my point being, though, is 6 stories of water. I'm not sure a nuke.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but you just need to start it, right? Like it's not holding that.
The nuke
probably
causes a shockwave to start the tsunami.
I'm saying it probably grows like a snowball rolling down a hill.
I just think that if
It
they
probably
nuke the
doesn't
water
start
to
at its apex and then.
Well, you realize when they drop a nuke, right? Some other country on Earth would notice, right? Something would pick it up, a radar or something.
Well, we know they test nukes. There's no doubt about that. They've tested nukes in the ocean.
Yeah, they used to.
They probably just weren't like the heaviest, dutiest nukes possible.
Again, there's a
Radiation
difference.
light.
There's a difference too between the hydrogen bomb, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, anyways, it's crazy.
Greg seemed to think that there was, well, I mean, I agree with sort of that. He said if they were to make rain, could they not drain the skies of water? Which I thought was a little bit silly. But there has got to be a level of moisture at all times.
I was watching, sorry, not about the rain, but I was watching a hurricane video the other day, or a tornado rather. That's insane. Like this one was like in 4K. It was crazy how
Well, this was a water spout that
Clear
took
it
that
was.
boat out.
But Kamar,
the
you've always contested that there is a finite amount of water on Earth,
On
correct?
Earth, yeah. But at any given time, some of it's in the atmosphere, water proper. Like it's never 100% on the surface.
But we would have to
100% dryness, we'd probably die.
So you mean though that that given enough time, we will run out of water?
Nope.
Why?
Where's it going to go?
Well, what do you mean? Our body absorbs water.
Yeah, and then when you die, your body lets it all go.
sorry, come
No,
on.
not all of it. In your life, how much water do you think your body?
Every casket in the ground has a little percentage of moisture in it that is you?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. What I'm saying is,
70% of you?
how much water do you think you take in your life? Your body absorbs most of that. No,
Piss it out.
You contend,
think you piss out when
Kamar,
you take
that the water comes from like the oceans,
that is his contention.
evaporates, goes
Yes,
back
goes up
into the clouds,
into the atmosphere. Yes,
because we live in a dome and it's just
I
self-generated.
think that happens on a flat Earth or a round Earth. That all happens the same. But it could fall back in the water. It could fall on the land.
even then, if it falls onto the land, it goes into the groundwater.
Because there's a huge amount of water also in all plants.
Well, if it falls onto the ground and evaporates into the ground,
no, well, there's groundwater as well. Some of it would make it down to the groundwater.
and then the groundwater goes to where? The oceans, back to the oceans.
No, it just stays under groundwater. Just stays
Well,
under.
then you're
ground.
losing that water.
Well, no, you're losing access to it, but it's still here.
Yeah, but it's not getting put back into your fucking weird little system of evaporation back up into the
No, 'cause
clouds
there are-
and
Yes, it is.
raining.
Yes, it is when it is in the ground and then a forest sucks it up to drink or plants.
I don't think that's how groundwater.
Well, and
Plants are-
that's not always how it works. Like I assume that even the desert has some water stored up underneath the ground.
Well, you can assume whatever you want. That doesn't mean it is.
Wow, shots fucking.
And
fired.
isn't the desert on top of oil?
Yeah, I mean maybe the desert was a bad example. I still don't think what about heavy rainfalls?
Yeah.
That's just more water being why does more get absorbed up at different times, I guess is what I'm asking.
But whatever amount of rain that fell
Yeah.
would be less that's now in the sky floating around in clouds or whatnot, right?
You think there's just water floating around on clouds? Okay.
Well, I think we all think that.
Do we?
The water just, where does rain come from?
Okay, let's move off of this. Who gives a shit? None of us are scientists. We're all dumb
It
as fuck.
comes from heaven. That's a stupid question.
I don't anymore because of the internet, but the equivalent, I do love, this is where I agreed with Greg, People Magazine.
No, I never liked
I
People
used to love
magazine.
reading it. I feel like you did too.
I used to always read my mom's trash magazines.
And then you also had the World News and the National Enquirer.
Well, that wasn't the same as People.
No,
People was legitimate stories by journalists.
but it was just sort of the
So
only.
Simon, let me ask you a question though. How do you parse that out that National Enquirer was literally 100% junk and Bigfoot was always a part of it?
I don't think it was always junk. I think if you know anything about the National Enquirer, you know that a lot of it was real, but they had to throw the junk in to
Isn't that a plot line
keep it
in
from
Men in
people
Black?
believing it. It is exactly a plot line.
You guys
in
cover it
Men
up?
in
No,
Black.
we don't. We tell you every day, but it's in this
Except
crazy.
for Will Smith.
format.
Terrific movie.
But before that was our
Maybe that should be our movie game.
misinformation.
I'll do it, Men in Black. Yeah. Start writing, Simon. Keep talking, Kamar, because we're not going to play the song again.
Yeah, so the National Enquirer and the World News was the internet for all intents and purposes of making stuff up, conspiracy theories. I think you used to buy them just for a joke, but they made money. Anyone else think of any examples of outrageous publications that somewhere in the outrageousness there is truth woven in? Because that's the whole theme of Men in Black. Religion in schools, yes or no?
No.
I had a funny story that my uncle's in town. He's got dementia.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about if you're religious or not. And I said I'd never been baptized. And my mom said, yeah, you had been baptized. I got baptized when I was 15. Is that crazy?
No, I got baptized when I was like 4 or 5.
Okay, I'm ready.
What do you mean, no?
Well, it's not that
No.
crazy.
You said
if you
no,
told me you got
Kamar.
circumcised at 15, I'd be like, that's pretty crazy. But baptized.
That's crazy.
Well, what's funny is I said I never got baptized. And my mom had to run and get a photo. And I said, oh, is that what happened that day?
What's really crazy is that you were 15 and you didn't remember that you got baptized. That's a little crazier to me.
If you told us you got proselytized at like
34 years ago?
15, that would be
Long
crazy.
time. But my stepfather comes in and goes, starts laughing, goes, I can't believe you let us do that to you. He's a staunch atheist now. It's just everything comes full circle.
Simon, you have a year?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What year do you have?
1998.
Yeah. I have 95.
Men in Black came out the same year as Private Parts, 1997.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
That
You know
just
what's-
works out.
You know
That's
what,
a good
Simon? When you
doubler.
said 98, I was like, I think Simon nailed it. All right. I said it cost $88 million to make and it made $590.
Yeah, I'm way off. I said it cost 42 and I made 321.
Budget, 90 million.
Whoa.
Box office, 589.4
Holy shit.
million.
So I actually almost legitimately won the real
I
one.
think you cheated.
I feel like you cheated again. Did you?
How?
No, but
Because you have them in your stupid book. What do you mean, how?
I'll show you the tape. The first one, you can see me rummaging through the sheets. The second one, I don't rummage through anything. I just write.
it's true. It's true. Check the tape.
Whenever he gets this close, it's because he cheated. And then he's going to come back later and be like, you know what, guys, I did.
Or
Guess
he's
what? Whenever
better
I
at the game
cheat,
than you are.
I come out and say it.
I don't like this
Simon doesn't like-
newfound
yeah,
confidence
Simon-
you have. I don't know where it came from or what thinks that why you think in the universe you're justified to talk
not-
like that.
it's not
but it
confidence.
has to
Kamar,
stop.
It's feel like you're absolved of being made fun of, and
You-
it's just not healthy.
You pissed him off so much right there. He became Gollum. I don't know if you caught that. He was like, he bees like it's.
No, he pulled his pen apart like we have to have a talk.
I'm fine being made fun
I
of.
don't think you are.
You're just like they're so cutting the remarks.
Guys, write in. and
Oh, I forgot
ask
last
if
week.
Simon can
Yeah,
take a
last
joke.
week you guys really had
It really
yeah,
is
yeah.
like he's like finding the real weak points.
I think
Yeah.
you can only roast the ones you love. Refrigeration is only 100 years old.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That's
Well, no, I
crazy.
just, like-
people used to have ice delivered to their house in blocks.
And you could only, well, I guess you could have rices and stuff, but perishables, you'd have to only have what you needed.
Well, no, they had canned food, but as far as like, I get what you're saying. Like
The
as far as
abundance that we
produce,
have in your house, what you'd have.
like it was like a lot of canned peaches and stuff before that.
You probably
canned,
didn't watch it, but you might have watched it because of Mary. Did you watch that? Like, I think it was called The Gilded Age.
No,
It was like a period piece, whatever TV show
on
But
Netflix.
I don't remember which one it was
sorry.
on. But they would like have these dinner parties, and to bring in like the ice for the dinner party when you're hosting
You'd
whatever
have to have
30
some
people.
cash.
Dude, the whole thing was fucking nuts, man. What a production it was to make those kinds of things happen back in the day.
But they did it.
They did it.
It got done, and to
Yeah.
do that same thing, that style today would cost a lot of money.
I mean, it really is crazy.
Are
when
you okay?
Is Boeing done?
No, they don't let they don't. When do we let massive companies
Boeing
fail?
fucked up the doors.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And now they stranded the astronauts in space who were supposed to be there for 8 days.
Yeah, but that affects 2 people.
They built all those shitty planes. Trump has one. I mean, that really is the best
Kiss of
cover
death.
story for his plane to go down at some point.
And should we not be fascinated with these people stuck up there?
You don't think, Matt?
No, I don't, Simon.
Yeah, we totally should. Sorry, we're having 2 really interesting conversations at
You're
the
able to
same
do that.
time here.
It's insane that they're stuck up there.
There was a girl stuck in. I'll never forget it because it was around the clock news. Baby
well.
Jessica stuck
Baby
in a
Jessica
well.
in a well.
We had to know. You had
Dude.
when you got home. How's Jessica doing? Now you have 2 people allegedly stuck.
And
allegedly.
she wasn't even in the well.
No, she was. There was another one that happened. They live. They had to get a guy. I've said this on the podcast before. I'm turning to Joe Rogan here.
Remember the one where the kid
He
lied?
had no collarbone, so he was the 1 in a million guy that could fit in the well and drag her up.
Hold on, where is my phone?
You know what the worst part is, Kamar? The worst part about being stuck up there is that twice a day.
If they are,
Yeah, okay, sure. Is that twice a day you have to look out the window and be like, I'm literally like 3 miles from home.
Oh, you allegedly you can see where you got to get to.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't that be tough that twice a day you're like, I literally just straight shot 2 miles. Like 2 miles isn't far
And
at
it's
all.
impossible to make, D-Day emergency. This is going to blow up some sort of pod thing that gives you your best chance to get back to Earth.
I mean, you'd think they'd have that on the
You'd think
space
that,
station.
like, just when they make a ship, there's a
An escape
escape
pod.
pod, but that's probably not possible because
Why?
With the re-entry, maybe they can't fit. You need 1 pod for every person that could be on that station, and you need a parachute in that once it gets through the belt.
Think of what you're saying, though. That would mean that
I'm
they
making
never.
it all up
That
as I
would
go along.
obviously mean they never went to space
That's where we
because you're like,
end.
well, they can't get a re-entry.
That's where we end up with. It doesn't make sense that they make this thing that this is the only way who would, well, these 2 people, do you think they're just fucking like animals? We should be obsessed with them.
It doesn't make sense that the Russians and the Americans have this joint space station when they're at war on the ground.
They
How does
agree
that
about
make
that and to Antarctica.
It doesn't make any, like, really, nobody questions that. We're all just like, oh yeah, that's just part of the way things go, but it doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, I'm getting all worked up and you guys aren't even interested at all.
well,
but
no.
No, I'm just thinking like, just because a country is at odds with each other doesn't mean that the scientists within that country don't want to work together. Now, I get what you're
We
saying.
need more Nazis.
I get what you're saying. It seems odd. The Nazis is actually a good example. Like they obviously did some sort of like risk analysis where they were like, these guys are going to advance us so far that it's worth just bringing them to the States and hiding them and not mentioning the war crimes, right?
yeah, I mean, getting to the moon was everything against the Russians, who are their arch enemy, who they now share a fucking space station with. It's just weird. It's odd. I'm sorry. It's odd.
I sometimes think that Coke could own Pepsi in this one.
That the Americans and the Russians are the same thing.
Well, what good for the goose is good for the gander, and selling arms, replenishing, keeping their because obviously fighter pilots got a pilot. They can't just sit around waiting for a war, right? So you got to spend the fuel, and they got to practice all the time. Arms companies and manufacturers got to manufacture.
Yeah.
They can't just sit and wait for trouble.
But if they really were like that, wouldn't they just be in perpetual war with each other? Because then
Are they not?
they're just constantly making arms. Their
Are they
countries-
not?
No, they're not.
Dude, I saw a video the other day.
They do it by proxy.
I saw a video the other day of random military equipment being shot, and there's a little like price thing beside it. It's fucking insane.
How much like a tank?
So like the
costs or
first thing is just
whatever,
the
yeah.
guy on a machine gun, just like dat, 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 and you can just see the fucking, it ends up being like $4,000 when he's done unloading the
In
whole
bullets,
thing. Yeah,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
the next one, like Simon said, is like an artillery thing, and they shoot it 3 times, and they're like, that's $6,000, and then they show like a Tomahawk missile, and they're like, that's 1.8 million, or like, and you're just like, You're like, this is why the military budget's so these are just test shots they're firing at.
Plus,
saw
they're
the-
selling wrenches for $500.
I saw that, and then I also saw one where they were just adding up like planes. You know what I mean? This plane costs $5 million to make up a number, and then they
500
have
million, and they have 25
500
of
of
them,
them in their fleet or whatever it is.
they just gave 10 to the
The
Ukraine.
number is so mental, and you're like, there's no way there was that much tax dollars out there.
There isn't.
I know, like everything operates on a deficit. It's crazy.
The real question is that money spent better in that format to protect the country and people's security, or to build a bridge, or to do a social program in a neighborhood? I think we all know what the answer
And
is.
it's so funny.
The answer is actually both.
It's to fight a war that's
I believe there's no threats.
never going to happen.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
You know what I'm saying? And if you were really worried about like another country taking you over, you would need far less military to protect yourself. Like you've seen those things where they compare the American army to the next biggest
Yeah, and
army.
it's 50 times the size.
We're talking about like 1 billion compared to 1 million. It's not even in the same
Well, I say if you-
hemisphere.
I think you're forgetting something though, Simon. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're Finland. You have far less land to protect. Right? Like, there's an argument to be made that given all the space the US has,
There's also an ocean between most
I understand. Listen,
of its,
don't get me wrong.
Like it really only has to protect itself from us and from Mexico.
yeah, two countries that are absolutely never going to attack it.
Well, no, but even if they were, you know what I mean? Like it's only 2 borders.
I get it. My point though is like, you know, in their mind, they sell it as like any sort of weakness. Like if Oregon becomes a weak point, then someone can come in. I get it. I'm with you.
I totally agree. I guess more what I'm saying is if the point of the US Army was to really protect the United States, they would have built a dome, a force field around the US a long time ago.
Yeah.
An Iron Dome type scenario.
I think we're being unfair as well. The U.S. Army protects all of the NATO countries. It's an absolute sham to just be like, it's just there to protect the U.S. That's a lie we tell ourselves because we don't pay their taxes.
Yeah,
The American tax dollars protect 25 countries on Earth.
That's true.
And you cannot deny that. There is no denying that.
No,
They
no.
don't get involved in World War II and we're all eating fucking sausage and we're in Lederhosen.
Well, if you have a nuke,
Hosen.
why do you really need, like, if there's the threat of just annihilating a country from the sky?
I think it's because we've discussed this. They all know no one's going to use them.
It must be.
Well, but they did use it. Like, you could doubt everybody else, but you can't doubt the United States military because they did use it. Everybody else has pussyfooted around this for the past, I'm sorry to cut you off, Kumar, for the past, I don't know how many years.
I think it's a different time now, though.
Well, and you've heard the whole thing where they didn't even need to bomb.
Yeah, they did it
saw
just
the
because.
They
yeah.
did it because they needed to prove a
I
point.
saw the movie.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Oppenheimer was-
yeah.
Oh, was that in Oppenheimer?
yeah.
I'm sorry. Listen, I get confused between Veep and real life all the time. So,
Gotta let you cook.
anyways, go on with your notes.
No, there's no. It's just the difficulty that Russia's having with Ukraine. It must be impossible to take Canada.
I'm sorry, what to Canada?
To
To
take.
invade and take Canada. Just it's so big. It'd just be.
Oh no, it would probably be pretty easy. That sounded so Canadian.
Oh
eh?
no.
Oh,
No,
no.
Kumar's right. Like okay, think about Afghanistan or Iraq. The biggest military on earth could not take full control of those countries, right? We're a huge country.
And there's military in every province.
So
Yeah,
hear
we
me
don't
out.
have a ton of people though.
No, but you need a ton of people to secure the whole thing at one time. It's so big.
What I'm saying, Simon, is you're forgetting that during war, if you're going to take over a country, there's going to be a lot of people within that country that still are rebels that want to fight against you. You need to have enough military to maintain control over all fucking 6 million square miles of Canada. Now, I get what you're saying. You could argue that like they don't need anyone up in Nunavut or the Northwest Territories or the
No,
Yukon,
they're
but like
just conquering like this tiny little bit of land on their way into this place they're taking over.
but here's your problem is
And then
if
they
it's-
gotta
hold on,
secure it.
Hold
the
on.
amount of,
advance.
it's
Just
only
hold on.
lengthwise that
Yeah.
matters.
If it's okay, so if it's anyone other than the US, you have a huge problem because you need to fight the U.S.
You got to come from the,
The
north.
second you approach the
Oh no,
border,
no, we're just talking about the U.S. though.
dude, they could take us overnight.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're not worried
it's
about that,
nothing
though.
for them.
They
to
don't
take
care
us.
about our country. They don't like us. They don't want us.
Not right now. Until look, what's gonna happen, Matt? And this is pretty self-evident. Like, you don't have to be a scholar. Even the bozos can figure this out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The world is getting hotter, and it's not because of anything we're doing with our car. We're in some sort of cycle right now. Obviously, I think it's pretty self-evident with the melting of the glaciers and every other thing that's going on. The world is getting hotter.
Okay.
It's going to. You watch that show where they prognosticated again. I learned all my information from Apple TV. You watch that thing where they prognosticated what would happen when it goes up by a half a degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to run out of room down there. Eventually, they're going to have to
Wait,
start
down where?
in the States.
No, are you fucking nuts?
Yes, everything that's that far south, Matt, is
Simon.
going to end up underwater. Are you stupid? Grow up, Matt. Grow up.
You grow up.
Everything down there is going to end up underwater. They're going to lose They're going to lose so much land down there. That's when they're going to decide, oh, we need to start taking over in Canada.
Simon,
they're not going to kick us out. They're going to
Their
kick
country,
us north.
Simon.
We're going to
their-
have to move north.
Simon, their country is almost as big as ours. What are you talking about? They already have 10 times the population. Do you know how empty the U.S. is?
Huh?
Do you know how empty the
Well, they
country
have
of the
way-
United
They
States
have
is?
way more people than we do.
Yeah, and there's still so much room.
Yeah, so everybody, just come on. Everybody from
Why
the
are you
bottom
saying, "Come on"?
is going to start moving up. So if you lived in Florida, this asshole, you're going to now have to live in Maine. Those people in Maine, where do you think they're going? They're going into the eastern townships. They're going into Montreal.
They're staying fighting.
You're such a weirdo. What are they
They
fighting?
may
The weather?
fight for a
what are they
while.
fighting? The weather? What are you
But,
talking
like,
about?
the
They may
enemy.
fight for a while. There's no enemy. He's talking about the weather.
No, I'm
you're not
talking
even
about
paying
Quebec.
attention.
What are you talking about?
You think people are going to move because of climate change to us?
No,
Yes.
no.
Yes, he thinks that it's going to get so hot and that the U.S. is going to have 10 billion people in it and that therefore they're going to have to take us.
I don't think there's going to be 10 billion people. I think the population is now on the decline, but that's a whole other
So
story.
then stop. Okay, you can't have it both ways. We already established that everyone in the world could stand in LA side to side. And your argument is
I mean,
that they don't have
that's-
enough room in the
That's
U.S.
one of those weird. But maybe they take in a lot of refugees. That could
How many?
be the problem.
There's 8 billion people on Earth.
They take in all of India. India gets evaporated off the map, and every Indian needs to come to the U.S. So that's another
1.2 billion.
that's a lot of people to absorb into your country.
Okay.
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 So let's say they have to do that with 3 giant population.
Why is that gonna
countries.
happen?
I
What
don't
are you
know.
doing right
well,
now?
we know because it's getting hotter. Everybody's losing land.
This
They-
guy sucks.
Matt,
Your argument sucks.
Grow
You
up.
You grow up. Stop
Grow
telling me to
up.
grow up, you fucking weirdo.
that's showbiz.
What else you got, Kamar? He's getting ChatGPT to type something out currently.
Everything comes down to those 2 sentences, Matt.
Yeah, whatever, Simon.
That's showbiz.
yeah, and grow up. Grow up, Simon. You fucking baby.
I don't like it. No, whoa, the fucking baby is taking it too far.
Oh, is it?
Any invasion of Canada would be highly complex and likely futile. ChatGPT
Is that what
agrees.
ChatGPT said?
Greg Fitzsimmons is a great friend of the show. He came out to promote his new special. Nothing new here. He just faking it like he makes it.
Simon,
I
taking
give it a 2.
I think taking over any country of any size is, unless you're the U.S., is almost impossible. And even as we've proven, like Afghanistan is a mountainous country, and they could not take it.
It probably won't be a takeover like you think it's going to be. It's just they're going to stop respecting the border. They're like the Canadian guards are going to be like, "Yo, you can't come in." They're going to just be like, "Yo, yeah, we live here now," you know? Kind of like squatters in
God, you're a weirdo.
in Airbnbs.
Are you guys old enough where you go to America without a license, without a passport?
Yes.
Yeah. You need a passport now. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, to fly,
I know the
obviously.
laws, yeah.
No, but to drive,
No, you just needed a license.
yeah. And then 9/11, I think.
And
it was.
and if that, you could
No, you
probably
needed a
you
license.
could probably get through with your library card.
I doubt that. No, you're just being catty.
Callous, I think is the word you were looking for.
Thank you. Yeah, that callous would be a man. Catty would be a woman. So double.
Caddy kind of implies like you're being
You're both being fucking cunts right now.
cunty.
You especially.
You're being cunty.
I give Fitzdog I don't know, a 2. That brings down my whole week, though. Oh, whatever. I don't care. Fuck the week. I give it a 2.
I don't know why I thought that they talked about like aliens and shit in this episode, but I'm gonna have to follow Matt.
We talked about the moon landing.
Oh, and give it a 2. We didn't talk about the moon landing.
Yeah, we did. We spoke. Mars spoke about how they're stuck up. Whatever. We don't believe it happened.
We didn't get to the moon landing. It's true.
That's not even close to the moon.
It was moon landing. It was moon landing adjacent. Again, they can't even do this. There's no way they got the
space station.
He basically made the case why they could not have landed on the moon, even though believing they landed on the moon. He is a boomer.
He's not a boomer.
He's boomer.
Listen, just because they use the word boomer, a baby boomer was born after World War II. So we're talking like in the 50s. He is not that old.
I'm using the royal we.
Okay, fair enough. Simon, did you rate it?
I gave it a 2.
Excellent. All right.
Is that 3 2s?
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry.
We have an agreement.
That's an episode. If you made it this far, that's incredible. Maybe you're willing to go a step further. We are on our road to 3,000 patrons and quitting our jobs.
We don't want to do it anymore. We all want to work. Don't join the Patreon.
Sure, whatever he said. But if you do want to join it, head over to patreon.com/JREE podcast. For that $5, you'll get the post show. It's the show of the show. We shoot the shit. You'll also get old episodes of This Won't Age Well, the show where we went back and listened to old episodes of Joe and did the same bullshit we do here. And you'll get a couple of moon debates, which we've obviously just shat on because we all agree now that we didn't land on the moon. You got a bunch of other stuff. And you'll support us in our quest to just do this full time, which is a fucking pipe dream. That's it. We hope you have a great week. We hope you have a great weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open.